There you go. All right, welcome everybody. Here's what you can expect. About 45-minute overview, and then we're going to transition into the Q&A. As I mentioned, the chat is open, so chat amongst yourselves. Just keep it clean. Though in the weeks past, it has been extraordinarily encouraging, and I thank everybody that participates for sharing how they truly feel about the trader and what their personal experiences have been. So continue to do that. If you do have questions, please make sure that you put them in the Q&A. We're going to have a speed session this week, if there is such a thing, and keep it as quickly as short as possible. Lots of education up front, and then we'll transition over to into the Q&A instead of answering questions along the way. So please do put them in the Q&A. So we'll go through questions and answers, and you get a chance to ask Mr. Barsano about his genius. You'll also get a chance. You see him. We've sort of introduced him, but we'll do that officially. The true genius and creator behind GoBabyTrade. You'll get a chance to see what I have. Mr. Barsano has allowed me to call the $1 billion report, and it's a very, very strong part of the system that takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. We always ask you to do your own research and do your own homework. This helps you along the way. We get a lot of questions about, hey, what coins do I need to trade? This will be crystal clear. You get a chance to see a live trader. Actually, if Mr. Hevesy prompts me, I'll show you my simulated trader. Because I've taken and employed some of the information out of the $1 billion report, and you'd be pretty amazed at what it's produced. You'll understand exactly what it means to make money in your sleep 24/7, 366. Yep, didn't stutter, 366. It doesn't take leap year off. You get an understanding that there is nothing in comparison to this GoBabyTrade trading system, automated trading system, and money management system. The only one on the planet, the only thing close to automating part of your financial life. It doesn't require any skills. You don't need to know blockchain, crypto, nothing. This is the perfect, and I'll give you this one stat, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Hevesy, is that I recently read an article that only 17% of the American public in the US do anything with crypto. That is, hold it, own it, trade it. 17%. That means 83% of the people out there really have no clue. This allows you to take advantage of that while you're living your life. We get to travel. We have a great time. We do things that allow us, because the trader buys us time back, gives us that opportunity. So if you want a little bit of financial freedom and you want to buy some of your time back, you're in the right place. You'll understand how to automate, as I said before, a portion of your financial life. And with that, away we go. No more stories until later. So, Mr. Hevesy, please take the wheel.
Yeah. Did you read the disclaimer, Edward?
I did. Let me read it again, because I think I forgot, and I didn't record until Mr. Barsano. We'll cover the disclaimer. This webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. Nothing that we share with you is intended or should be construed as financial, legal, or tax advice, nor are any guarantees of return or performance promised or guaranteed. So with that, thank you for that reminder, Attila. I'll stop sharing and turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. I've got a guarantee. I guarantee everybody is going to enjoy this thoroughly tonight. And when you pull the trigger to buy the trader with your $1,000 off Crypto Casey link, you're going to thoroughly be jumping for joy with the results, because this just plain out works. Now, my background is such that I've been full-time blockchain, crypto, DeFi, AI, DePIN, RWA for 5 years, just shy of 5 years. And it's really the best. I've been in the world of finance most of my life, doing something in finance, but this is the best move I ever made financially, because when it's just incredible to think of how disruptive this digital money revolution is. I mean, just think back to when you had a wall plugged into you had a phone plugged into the wall. It was called a home telephone. And then all of a sudden people are telling you they're buying this thing that you could make phone calls from in your car or from the restaurant. You looked at them like they have 5 heads. But now, probably within a year or two of your friend telling you that, you had one yourself. That was a major disruption in technology. Same thing with Blockbuster going over to Netflix. Major disruption. Same thing with taxis are obsolete in many cities and many countries because Uber took over. It was totally disruptive technology. So what we've got here is a robotic autonomous crypto trader that's disrupting the way that people traded before, and that's wrapped around another major disruption, which is the digital money revolution. And I tell people this every week. You cannot live 10 lifetimes and have the kind of financial opportunity that we have in this space. It's mind-boggling what's about to happen here. And it's been building for 16 years now. It's just now getting to a crescendo, and the next 10 to 20 years are going to be, put your seatbelts on. It's going to be a wild, wild ride. Okay. So anyway, I want to tell the story of how I met Mr. Barsano and why we all are on this call tonight, on this Zoom, as a consequence. But Ed Barsano, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. If he could keep it relatively short, I'm going to let Ed tell you his background instead of me telling it. But I'm going to start with when I met him. A friend of mine
You don't want me to go back to when I was in 7th grade.
No.
Right.
I want you to start from when you were in high school and ended up in the Navy. Okay. So anyway,
I don't remember high school. I was partying too much.
Yeah, you got serious on that ship, right? When you learned programming. But anyway, we met in 2012. Mr. Barsano got his clock cleaned in the stock market after retiring from Microsoft in the year 2000, a little before the year 2000. And you know what? He said, they picked on the wrong guy. I'm going to level the playing field, and I'm going to develop something that the masses can use to not gamble, but make money in your sleep and do it so you don't have to gamble and give people a fair shot. Because up to that point, there was nothing for the consumer available where they had the same advantages that the big boys on Wall Street already had. So he developed that for us, for all of us on this Zoom. And 12 years later is when I met him. He was marketing it at that point, pretty much up for 12 years, one-on-one. He did go to some investing events and sold, spoke to a whole bunch of people at these investment clubs, but mainly up till 2012 when I met him, he was solo. Then he joined forces with a group that had a marketing plan in place, which actually worked pretty good for a while. For 2 years, they sold $16 million worth of licenses. That's a lot of business. But basically, let me back up a little and tell you that my friend, before I was introduced to Mr. Barsano, said, Attila, how would you like to have automation do some stock trading for you where you don't really have to do anything once you buy the software? I said, what do you mean? He says, yeah, this thing turns itself on. Once you program it, it turns itself on. It trades the stock market for you automatically, 100% unattended. And when the stock market closes, it turns itself off. And I said, you mean I don't have to sit in front of the computer with any screen time? Because that's not something I was willing to do. I like easy things. I like simple things that don't chew up my time. Because I'm a busy guy. I've always been a busy guy. Okay, he said, no, Attila, once you set it up, it's downloadable software now. It is a little cumbersome. It takes 60 to 90 minutes to download. But once you do that, you don't have to do a darn thing. I'm like, oh, tell me about this. And that's when he told me what Ed did, what he developed. And I met Mr. Barsano. I bought the software and I used it, and it was phenomenal. I mean, it worked. It was everything my friend told me it was. And I was thrilled. So we fast forward the story a little bit. In 2000, And after 2 years of Ed Barsano being associated with that marketing group, he bowed out because, you know, business relationships are tough. So he said, sayonara, things were not working out. He went back to going solo. And in 2019, he actually sold out to a hedge fund that had previously purchased many, many licenses from Ed. Now, this is where the story gets kind of interesting. Many of his previous clients encouraged Ed to build a trader for the crypto market. This was around 2019. But he was busy. He was doing other things. And then he thought about it and he says, you know what? There's some merit to this, because he studied the crypto market a little bit. And he said, I'm going to do that. So in April of 2021, Ed Barsano rolled out from ground zero. Now he started from scratch. And obviously, he used the knowledge he had from the first trader, the stock trader, and he rolled all that clean data into the new crypto trader. But he did develop that from scratch, and he rolled it out. Now, this is where it gets a little hairy. About the middle of March 2024, I had a particularly rough day at the office, so to speak. I was frustrated, and I'm sitting there going, you know, I got a real good crypto portfolio here. I've learned a lot about this space, but I'm a cash flow guy. I do believe cash is king is out the window. I believe that's been replaced with cash flow is king. And I love cash flow. So I'm sitting there going, how the heck can I just have my crypto earn more crypto on itself? It took me a day, but it hit me the next day. And I said, oh my gosh, my buddy Ed Barsano, I'll bet my life on the fact somewhere along the line, he developed a robotic autonomous trader for the crypto market. I still had his phone number in my iPhone. I called him. We had a 3-hour chat. Yep. Had a 3-hour chat. It was great to connect. Actually, he was pretty happy to hear from me because it's been a while. We lost touch. You know, sometimes life gets busy. But he said, Attila, when he confirmed my hunch that he did indeed launch that in April of 2021. And he said this to me. He said, I discovered the crypto trader is light years ahead of the stock trader. And he gave me 4 compelling reasons why. Now, folks, listen carefully. This is the nitty gritty. Number 1, he said, stocks trade 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. Crypto's 24/7. That's a big advantage. Think about that. It's 3 times more. Actually, it's 4 times more. 6 times 4 is 24 hours. So it's 4 times more trading window and opportunity. The second thing he told me was, look, he said, you know as well as I do that in order to make money in any kind of trading, whether it's stocks, precious metals, Forex, crypto, you need volatility and lots of it. He said there's no asset class on planet Earth that is more volatile than crypto. And I agreed again. The third thing really got me, though, because this is a biggie for me. He said, Attila, guess what? It's not downloadable software anymore. It's web-based. I said, what does that mean, Ed? He said, that means it's so simple. I can now have you trading live in 10 minutes or less. I said, giddy up, let's do that. I bought the license on the spot. In 8 or 9 minutes, he had me connected to my Coinbase account. I was trading live with just under 10 grand. Now that blew me away because I remember the old days, how, you know, it was a little bit cumbersome, like I said. And then the fourth thing is the most important one to me, because I'm embarrassed to say in the last 4.5, 5 years, I have lost over $100,000 in 5 different crypto blockchain cash flow projects. Now, obviously, I've made more than that, but nobody wants to lose that kind of money, or even 1/4 of that kind of money is a lot to lose. But think about it. Why did I lose those monies? Why? Very simple. I was not the one controlling my crypto. I sent it off to a third-party wallet or exchange, so when things went south, I couldn't get to my funds. Bad move. So he said to me, Attila, I created an API connection. That API connects to your own Coinbase or Kraken account, so you and you alone control your monies at all times. He said, I can't touch your money if I wanted to. All my trader does, it's a tool. It sends the buy signals and the sell signals to your exchange through the API connection. I can't touch your money. I said, Ed, that's like music to my ears, because that's the biggest problem in crypto. The scams, okay? You can't get scammed here, it's impossible, okay? So that's really important. Now, before I turn it back over to Edward for one real quick demo, I wanted to let you know that I think it's very important for everybody on this Zoom to keep two things at the forefront of your mind. The first is, when we say set it and forget it, it truly is 100% set it and forget it. You could buy the license, you could go to the other side of the world and not even look at your trader for a month or two, and guess what? It's still working for you, taking profits, buying more at a lower price on the servers. That's amazing. That's no screen time, no interaction, unheard of. Number two, think about what this man has generated for us all, what he's developed for us. It's never been done, folks, for the average Tom, Dick, and Harry, Susie, and Sally. Again, this is not for the uber wealthy. This is for the average person. It's not for Wall Street. It's for the average, it's for the masses. This man, without any of us being an accredited investor, without any of us knowing anything about trading, without any of us knowing anything about crypto, you really hardly have to know anything about computers, has developed a way for us to make money in our sleep, taking advantage of this digital money revolution that is going to change people's lives. Now, we're not saying this should be the end all and be all as far as in your portfolio, but we are.
I'm saying that.
He is. I'm not. I'm
All
saying
right.
it should definitely 1000% be a part of your total
this is the only
portfolio.
place I need to put it. I don't need anything else.
There you go. And he'll explain why he feels like that in a few minutes. But you know, it's really an amazing tool. It's been a godsend to many people on this call tonight, and you'll hear from them. So with that, Edward, you've got an amazing experience here in the last 3 months and 1 week, I believe, without going to the $1 billion report, because we're going to see it later twice anyway. Do you think you could explain and do a screenshot and show people what just happened to you in the last 90 days with this automation?
Sure, absolutely. I can share. So I've got a simulation account that that this $1 billion report. I know it's building up a little bit of anticipation, but as I said before in the overview, is that I used the technology, the additional technology, and the features that Ed and his team built into this, and continue even in the background on a daily basis. They're improving the software. The software itself gets smarter and smarter and smarter. Mr. Barsano will share with you why, but it's pretty amazing. All I did was employ the tools. I'm no smarter than maybe I'm a little smarter than the average bear, but you don't
yes,
have
you
to
are.
you don't have to be, because the software does it for you, and I'll show you what I mean by that.
Actually, just some props for my business partner. He's quite the brainiac.
I appreciate
Take it
that.
from me. He is a pretty sharp dude.
Thank you, Attila. Well, we're, as I always say, those of you that are new or that have joined us, all we're focused on is improving your chances by improving your knowledge base in education. Because, as a matter of fact, well, just as we got started, I saw it pop up, Crypto Casey, and we love Crypto Casey. That's why most of you are here, either because you love her work and have been following her, or somebody referred you to her. But just as we were getting started, a short popped up on her saying the entire money system is a scam. So she loves to poke at the system and prove why it is. She loves the trader. And by the way, before I get into this, I forgot to mention at the very beginning. Let me do some housekeeping. Next week, we are moving our weekly from next Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time to next Thursday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And the reason why, drum roll please, Casey's going to be joining us live. We're going to do a little bit different. We're going to be interviewing her. She's going to be interviewing Ed, and everybody gets to interact directly with Casey. She's been off in some undisclosed locations of late, but we just got confirmation, and many of you saw it in the reminder, that she's going to be joining us. So that's next Thursday, the 10th. Correct.
Yes.
It is the 10th. Next
Yes.
Thursday, the 10th, instead of Wednesday, the 9th, but it's same bat channel at 2 o'clock Eastern time, but don't miss it because she's got some surprises. In any case, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so the $1 billion report, which we'll keep teasing it and we'll show it to you a little bit later. It actually well written by Mr. Barsano and his team about 8 months ago, just about 8 months ago, released. And what it does is it calculates all the successful trades within the trader and its entire neural network that shows profitable trades. So the most Attila mentioned, and I know that Ed will talk about it as well, is the volatility. I've said, I call it the $1 billion report. I also coined a phrase, this system eats volatility. It literally takes advantage of every move. Pushing 3 million lines of code. If you think you can outthink it, you can't. But why would you? Why would you? It simply works. So I chose, people, as I mentioned, people have asked, how do you choose the coins? Well, I don't have to do a whole bunch of research, but when you see this report, you'll know the coins that I chose in this demonstration, Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, and Whiff, because they were some of the most volatile and some of the highest trade counts in the last year. So they have done very, very, very well. Now, over the past month or two, there has been a lull in the markets, either been going sideways or dipping. I really do think, as a matter of fact, going back to Casey. Casey agreed. So does Mr. Barsano, and I think we're on the same bandwagon. Is that the market's being manipulated and pushed down to scare out the average person. Anybody that doesn't own this trader has got to be scratching their head, going, "Oh my gosh, how much money am I going to lose in this market?" With this trader, 180-degree difference. It simply produces in your sleep. As I said, very, very, very important to me is when I employed this strategy for myself and my family, it did two things. It created a legacy, an unstoppable legacy that I can leave to my children's children. That is my job, to employ my money, give my money a job, and have it make money for my legacy.
Edward, do you mind if I say one thing about your screen here real fast?
Sure.
On the same order where you're going with the market being manipulated, if you will, pushed down, get the little guy out so the big guys can load up at lower prices. So when they push the prices of the coins down, that's the only thing that can cause your account value to go down. Because the robotic trader keeps taking profits, so you're at war. The auto trader's at war with the manipulation. They keep pushing the prices down, but the auto trader keeps taking profits and offsetting that drop. And if you look, I'm looking right at the closed positions P&L. Can you point at that, Edward?
Yes.
There. And look at that first bonk. You've taken $7,376 of profit off the table. At the same time, the market keeps pushing the price of the coin down. So your open positions P&L is down 6,000. See, if you didn't have an auto trader, you would be down 6,000 bucks. But instead, you're actually up $1,000. And they can never stop you from taking profits. The profits are going to keep adding up forever. The only thing they can do is they either push the coins down, 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 down. Anytime they try to push the coins back up, then the open positions P&L is going to go, it's not going to be down as much, right? It's going to erase that negative, and all that's going to just go into the closed positions P&L, which is going to give you even more money. So, I mean,
Yep.
It's money for life.
Think of the open positions as inventory, right? As Mr. Barsano will tell the story about his virtual 7-Eleven, you always have to have inventory on the shelf. If you've been in the market or watched the market over the last few months, they pushed it down another 30%, another 30%. But you look, and that's what these open positions are. But you can see
fake. Those are fake numbers. So the wealthy are loading up at the bottom. This is going to be the mother of all paydays, baby, when this market turns up.
Well, look what it's
And
done.
your auto trader is all ready for it. Loading up, got you in the right positions, adding at the right times, just waiting for that blow up. And like today, look at down below. You're going to talk about that? Look
Yeah,
at
it was
it. We have one nice up day, and you take all that profit.
right. So draw your attention to the left, the light blue section. It's taken a total of $328.98. Very important. Listen to this, and I'll go back to my the closing statement from before. This money management system has been created and programmed to never sell at a loss, period. It does not sell at a loss. You can force it to lose, but it will never, ever, ever sell at a loss. It will collect inventory as the market goes down, buys on 3% increments down, sells on 3% increments, either higher or lower, because there's an AI component we'll talk about. But it never sells at a loss. It just collects inventory. And you see what happens is collected inventory. Look at yesterday. It collected inventory, right? So it collected inventory at 2:59 p.m. Eastern time. These are all Eastern time time date stamps. It bought 155 million and change of Pepe, and almost 12 hours later, it sold the same position, right? So when the market's down, what's one of your favorite phrases, Mr. Barsano? Down is
Well, down is good.
Down is good, right? Everybody wants to sell everything at a profit. Just remember, you're buying the inventory on down days to sell them. Every time you sell it at a profit, you bought it cheaper and you sold it at a higher price. So listen here. Look, the first sale, 2:19 a.m. I wasn't awake. 4:05. I wasn't awake. 11:15, I was getting my second cup of coffee, but the rest of the time, and I've not looked at my trader until today. So it literally is taking profit when you're not watching.
I haven't even looked at my trader in days.
Oh, well, everybody's going to get a chance to see your real live trader. But
Because
again,
I don't know what I know that my robotic trader is taking all the profits it can take. It's adding at the right times. It's doing everything. It doesn't need me to be looking at it. It is what it is. Whatever the market wants to do, I go with the market. The market's in control. We just take advantage of it.
Yep. In a down market, in a severely down market, it's taken $4,100, $4,150 over the last 30 days. And look at this number. This is performance 3 months and a week. This I set this scenario up to simulate on March 25th. March 25th, it is now July 2nd. It's taken $26,620.53 in profit. That is on pace to do 100% return on your money. Now, again, as I said at the beginning, it's future results are not tied to past results, but it's been doing it for 4 years since Mr. Barsano issued the software and started telling people about it. I don't know why you would think he would do anything less. And by the way,
Edward,
in a 90% down market.
If your trader takes 100% in profits in a year, the only way the market can offset that is for the coin prices to drop 100% a year. Otherwise, it's all profit.
It's all profit.
So if you're taking 100% in profits off the table, the market, if the market doesn't, the market would, if the market only drops 50%, you've still made 50% profit.
Yep, and like I always say, that's pretty close to what you get in your savings account in Bank of America, right? Correct?
Do I even get 1%?
No, you don't. And if you talk about debasement of the money, which is every time they print money, your purchasing power goes down, and mix in this little thing called inflation. If you're not making better than 20% on your money, you're just going broke very slowly. So with that, I'll turn it over. If you have any questions about this, please do put them in the Q&A. But I'm going to turn it over back to Attila and give Ed a chance to introduce himself and then show some magic that he's been doing since the very beginning.
Awesome. Thank you so much for showing everybody that, Edward. And so now we get to the fun part where we introduce Mr. Barsano. Ed, as always, thank you so much for being on again this week with us. And why don't we do something new? Because usually I'm the one explaining your background. Just take a minute or two from when you ended up in the Navy, how that all happened, and then until the time you got to become hired by Microsoft. Let's just do that little stretch there, and I know you could summarize it quickly, and then we'll get into the 2 or 3 most common questions we get. The people need to hear those answers from you. So,
Yeah,
Mr. Barsano, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Attila. Thank you for inviting me to your webinar. I'm just a guest here. Even though I show up a lot, I appreciate it. But I don't do webinars unless I'm invited. So, so let me just start with saying one thing. 6th grade. I hate to say it. I know. You don't want to hear it. No, no, but we moved around a lot in Chicago when I was younger, and my older brother, he's 10 years older than I am. He got a job in a Texaco gas station right across the street from where we lived in the inner city of Chicago. And so I was hanging out in the gas station, and I picked up this little magazine called The Farmer's Almanac. Right? And some of you may know what this is. And I'm thumbing through this thing, and I'm like, you can predict the weather based on history. It blew me away. I mean, I was only in 6th grade, but it changed my thought process, my brain. I'm going through this, and I'm fascinated. I'm blown away by this. I'm like, dear Lord, they're going back to the 1800s here. You can literally, they're telling you. And then I've observed that in life all through the years. I've been noticing it. They can tell you with phenomenal accuracy how many people are going to die over a Labor Day weekend. I'm like, you're kidding me. I remember a few years ago, they said, well, about 500 people are going to die this Labor Day weekend. 503 people died. Blew me away. I'm like, that's stats for you. So I've been just living and breathing this stuff for my whole life, and I've been applying it everywhere. I mean, I've applied it to so many different things, applications. I mean, if you want to go there, horse races, poker, how many hands in a row can you lose? I'm telling you, man. And it's all real, and the accuracy of it is phenomenal. I mean, it would blow you away.
Well,
And
thank you for applying
what
that.
I didn't like about, let's take horse races, for instance. I didn't like horse races because when you're doing the stats the way I do, you're betting on things that you normally wouldn't be betting on. Nobody bets on a 50-to-1 shot when that horse literally, based on what everyone else is looking at, has no prayer of winning this race. Especially when the number 1 horse that's competing here has never lost a race, is going to blow this field away. There's no question about it. I'm betting on the 50-to-1 shot, and then it wins, which is then when you go to collect. This is where what I didn't like, because when I went to collect with the ticket, normally they just give you your money. The guy actually asked me on the other end. He said, "Who told you that horse was going to win?" I'm like, why are you talking to me? You don't talk to the people. They give you the ticket and you give them their money. And then they were looking at me as I was walking around the track. This is years ago, but it influenced me. I'm like, man, boy, if I was ever betting any real money in here, I don't know if I get out of here alive. I don't know what's going, because I'm betting on this weird stuff that I don't know. Are these races rigged? What's going on? So anyways, but that's when I found the stock market. It blew me away. I'm like, I love the stock market. There's nobody talking to you. You're literally invisible. I mean, how great can that be, And then, with the advent of the internet, and the technology and all, I could really deliver the impossible here with computers,
And
and
you
then,
did.
Pardon me? Oh, I
And you
did.
did.
Yeah. Well, and like I'm gonna race ahead. Like Attila didn't really want me to talk about 6th grade. I'm sure he's cringing over there. No, I know. I do stretch these things, but I like
Okay.
to educate. I want people to know where I'm coming from, how this stuff came about. It morphed into where we're at. Over the years, it just kept growing. When I left Microsoft in '95 with millions of dollars, I thought, well, I'm done with this planet. And I was in all the tech stocks in the 90s, like everyone was, and they were all going up, and I didn't know anything. I just knew I was in all the tech stocks and they were going up, right? I didn't know anything about the stock market. I was just in it and it was all going up. And then in 2000, 60% of my wealth vaporized and that crashed in 4 months. Millions of dollars disappeared. And that's when, and I was already bored because I was already retired 5 years, bored to death. Any of you that are retired, you know what I'm talking about. So that's when I said, you picked on the wrong guy, baby. I'm going to hurt you for that. I am going to automate this market. I'm going to prove it's just numbers going up and down. And with proper money management, we'll just rake money out of the market and there's nothing they can do to stop us. And so that's what I did. I released the Auto Traders, and in 2001 actually was my very first robotic trader completed, trading against Interactive Brokers, the stockbroker, and worldwide. And then a few things, it just started getting better because then the people started educating me. And then there's a company called American Association of Individual Investors. You can go look, AAII.com. Okay, they have chapters all over the country, and and I was the only one talking robotic trader, and they're always looking for speakers every month to talk to their audiences all over the country, and it's cities everywhere. I mean, probably 100 different cities I've spoken to, and maybe not that many, but how many in Texas? San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, Waco, Houston. I've presented all over there, all over up and down Florida, all over up and down California, the whole Midwest. So yeah, quite a few places. So and so I discovered that everybody wants to make money in those audiences. See, when I'm presenting out there, I'm learning also. I'm not just the one, I'm not just talking, I'm actually learning from the feedback. And what I learned is everybody wanted to make money, but nobody knew how. I could see they didn't know how. They were gambling. And you could think of all the negative things I heard through the years. There's no way this could be real. If it was real, there'd be no stock market. If it was real, everybody would already have it. If it was real, he wouldn't be sharing it with you. I don't know what they're talking about, me sharing it with you. You created it. It's your feedback that came to me. The constant feedback. What works? I could see what works and what wasn't working. I see all the auto traders. I can see everything. I know what's working and what's not working. So over the years, I started with 10 screens because I was letting everybody do whatever they wanted. If you asked me for an indicator or some strategy, I gave it to you literally overnight. Surprised everyone. Someone asked me for something the very next day. I said, there, I programmed it. Here, now you can use it in your trader. And but then I didn't know if that was going to work. That was their strategy they asked for. So I gave it to them. And then we discovered that it doesn't work. So you were gambling, you were guessing. And so slowly all those things went away. So I went from 10 screens, and what I like to say is 10 screens of ways to blow yourself up. I filtered it all out. I said, no, we are not gambling. Everything they're all doing is gambling. Stop it. We don't even need to be gambling. This is just free money if you do it right with proper money management. So I got rid of all those screens and I reduced it to one screen of settings. Very simple settings and they're already by default set. So when you sign up, the strategy's already there. And Edward, those 4 coins you're talking about, Bonk, Ondo, Pepe, and Whiff, they're already the default coins when you sign up. As soon as it comes up with a screen, it says click the default coins that most people are trading now.
That's
Click, one
spectacular.
click of a button, boom, there they are. You're already done. As soon as you sign up, anyone signs up right this minute could be already up and running in a couple minutes. I mean, well, instantly, as soon as you sign up, you got paper trade mode. It's already running then in paper trade. Then all you got to do is connect it to your Coinbase or Kraken account and you're on your way. So then over the years, I started presenting all over. Then TD Ameritrade called me in 2006. And this is where I always get this feedback. I get feedback from everyone telling me, hey, Eddie, you're right. It's working. Keep going, And that's what's keeping me going 25 years doing this. TD Ameritrade called me in 2006 And, you know, and I'm like, why are you calling me? How do you even know me? You know, I mean, I'm nobody, you know, I don't even advertise. I'm just word of mouth. You know, it's clients telling other clients. And, you know, and I'll never forget his answer. It was the most profound answer you could even think of. He goes, "You're real." Isn't that like the ultimate, just like the ultimate answer? I want that put on my headstone. I think that would be the coolest thing to put on a headstone. Instead of, oh, he was great, he was this, he was that. No, he's real. He was real. Thank you. That's a
That's pretty
compliment.
profound.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, maybe that should be my logo, a headstone. Say he was real.
No, no, we want you to stick around for quite some time, sir.
I like it that he said too real. I know I am too real sometimes. If you ever call me, folks, you better know that you better have 2 hours to kill, because I don't care if it's 2 in the morning your time. You know, you called me. I didn't call you, so I got you for 2 hours. Anyways, so you know, through the years, it's just gotten better and better and better and better and better, and here we are. You know, I've reduced. I took all. You don't even have to download software. I took all that away. It all runs on my servers. I've got racks of servers, man. Just so many servers. You know, running your auto traders. And then if sometimes people ask, oh, what about security and all that? Don't worry about security. I got that completely down. You know, what I always say is a light bulb goes out in your house, the other light bulbs don't rise to the occasion to take place to compensate for that other light bulb. You know, but if a computer crashes, then your auto trader, if it was running on that, if it happened to be running on that server, the other servers will take your job and run it automatically. If your auto trader stops for 10 minutes, another server will just pick it up. So you don't even know what server your auto trader is running on every day. Because when the servers start up every day at midnight, because they go off at midnight, they're off for about 5 minutes and then they go back on. And all the auto traders start up again. That way, if I made any code changes during the day, upgrades, because I'm always updating things, you know, some cosmetic, some, you know, important things. But then the auto traders pick up the change overnight and then start you know, with the updates. So everything is automated on my side. You know, if anything happened, the biggest thing I get on my phone throughout the day sometimes is it's called a reconciliation with the broker. It pops up as a message on my phone that the software says I have to it's reconciling this trader. And what it is if you make a manual change at the broker, if you execute a trade at the broker, not going through the software, then the software says, what happened to my shares? How come they don't match what was at the broker? The software always knows how many shares of everything it has, and all of a sudden the shares don't match. So then the software goes into reconciliation mode and it matches up. The broker rules if they say you have this X number of shares, then the software has to update itself and say, well, all right, I guess that 100 shares disappeared or whatever. That means you must have sold it. So I'll get a reconciliation like that. Other than that, the whole system is automated and thousands of clients, and it's very easy to manage. On my side, it's, you know, very little
Oh,
support. You
awesome.
know, most of the questions that I actually get are people saying, you know, my auto trader was doing so much better 2 months ago, and this month things slowed down a bit. The coin price has dropped 50%. Why is that? When I can't find any negative news on the crypto market and I'm watching prices dropping like a rock, now the auto trader's buying more while it's going down, which is cool because then as it wiggles, you're also selling it off. So it's buying and selling while it's wiggling around. Um, so we're taking advantage of the crash of the prices going down. Remember something, a very important concept. If a wealthy guy wants to buy $30 million worth of alchemy pay, say ACH, he can't just go out there and buy $30 million worth because there's not $30 million worth of people selling it. How do you get Joe Public to sell his crypto? Drive the price down. Because then the public goes, oh my God, things are bad. I want to sell it all. And they panic and get out. Joe Public panics and gets out. I feel bad. Boy, if my name was Joe, I'd feel bad at always being called Joe Public. I apologize to you guys, to you Joes out there, because it does make you sound Joe Public. Anyways, I'm just saying that's how they do it. And I've been watching them do that for 25 years. Okay, they drive the prices down, the public gets out, the wealthy load up. They did it in 2018. They pushed the bank stocks down to $1. Joe Public got out, sold out, panicked. People were getting margin calls and everything because they didn't know how to do proper money management. So they were all in at the top. And then when the prices went down to $1, they started selling it all at a loss, at a huge loss. And the wealthy loaded up at $1. And then what did they do? They pushed the bank stocks to $50 a share. They got rich. And where did the little guy go? He is left behind yet again. And they do it all the time. Well, they're not going to do it again to us in the crypto space. We got them. We got their number. Now we're loading up at the bottom. The auto trader buys more at the bottom. And with using proper money management, so you never run out of money. I don't have to worry where the prices go. I started trading Alchemy Pay at 12 cents a share 3.5 years ago. It went down to 1.5 cents. That's what is that? That's over a 90% drop. While it was going down there, I took $300,000 of profits on the way down. They can't, and right now I think I'm down about 80 grand on my open inventory from all that positions that are underwater here. Don't worry about it, because I've taken 300,000 in profits already. They can never get that 300,000 back. That's mine forever. Even if the coin went out of business right now, the most they could take is that 80,000. But if they don't go out of business, Alchemy pays like Apple Pay worldwide. I don't expect them to go out of business. I think they should be $20 a share, not a penny and a half. I mean, that's again another insult to humanity. You know, when they do that kind of stuff. We have an opportunity right now, man, that is never before in history. If you miss, I mean, Attila didn't say it, but if you miss the internet revolution or the tech revolution, this is the big one. This is the one you don't want to miss. This is the one that's going to really make you rich. And that's why these coins have been dropping for the last 3 years. The wealthy are loading up like crazy. You saw it when FTX went under in the Bahamas, and they started doing those congressional hearings on TV. Boy, I wish they had congressional hearings on TV every time I lose some money, huh? Wouldn't that be nice? But if you're rich, then that's what they do. They have congressional hearings because these rich guys went to a foreign country and invested their money and then lost it. Why are we having congressional hearings over some foreign company that went under? In any case, I discovered then that, and it's what I always knew, the wealthy started talking. I heard one guy say he lost 30 million, another lost 50 million, another lost 60 million. Plus, I've been watching the whales over the last 3 years. There used to be websites, they took them down now, where you could actually see the money going into these coins, the individual trades of the rich. And it was amazing. I watched $100 million going into Shiba Inu in one day in $10 million tranches. Buy, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million. I mean, it was beautiful. And you know what the most wonderful thing is of all that? They were all doing it at much higher prices than where it is right now. I love it. I got them right where I want them. Because in order for them to get their money back, they got to run those prices all the way back up there. And when they do, all that inventory I bought along the way on the way down, I'm selling it all off. I love it, man. I feel so evil. That's where the
You do
Simon
sound sinister.
Bar-Sinister comes
You do
in.
sound
I
sinister.
do feel evil. I got him trapped. You know,
But hold
25
on a
years
second.
of development, and I really got the market trapped, and there's nothing they can do to stop me. I'm not breaking any laws.
No, you're not. You're not. You're taking advantage. You're turning what everybody's been taught on its head. I mean, you literally trapping the market, and you're taking advantage of the fact that they're pushing the prices down. Everybody that owns the trader gets to load up while the prices are low. And then you're right. For them to make money, what do they have to do? They have to drive the prices back up. Guess what? We're along for the ride.
Yeah, you want me to share my trader, Attila, or
Yeah,
do you have more
yeah.
questions that you wanted to
No,
talk?
no, that would be great if you could share your trader.
I mean, we could talk about AI, and we can go.
Well,
I have 6 hours worth of stuff I could talk about.
no, the thing is that AI always comes up in the Q&A, so we're going to address that anyway. I think it would be an opportune time to share your trader and then show people, maybe start with the left side or wherever you want to start.
Well, what I like to do real fast, quickly
Yeah,
here is, let me hide this off the screen, hide this floating thing. I like to just show people the concept of the trader because
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
most
This is a
important
great
thing.
visual. Great
If
visual.
you understand the concept, then you realize it's money for life.
Hmm.
Okay? If it was water, I'm going to stop this for a second. We'll let it go up and then stop it. All right. If it was water, the bucket would have to go all the way to the bottom and get the water and go all the way back up and dump it out. Nobody disputes that. That's how wells work. The bucket goes all the way down, then you pull it all the way back up, and you got your water. It can't go halfway and then go back up. It's got to go all the way down and get the water. Okay? With the crypto market, it doesn't have to go all the way down. It doesn't have to go all the way up. All it's got to do is just wiggle from wherever it's at. It doesn't matter. So if I turn it on, it goes down a little, it buys, it goes up a little, and it sells. Again, not rocket science. This is how 7-Elevens work. You put product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. I'm not saying buy at the bottom and sell at the top. I just said buy it anywhere and just sell it a little higher. Again, not rocket science. It's so elementary that it's almost an insult to humanity that this could actually be a place to make free money, that they allow this. I think it's fantastic. You know, it's just free money no matter where it goes. Now, you can hold those losers up here that are underwater. Don't worry about those, man. You're going to make so much money on these wiggles for the rest of your life, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop you. And then if it does make a big bounce up, you sell all that inventory off that you bought along the way on the way down. So you don't even, it's just, it's literally money for life. And I can't express it enough. Now, there are a faction of people out there that are resistant. Some of you that are on here, actually. And those are the people that I would like to speak up. Speak up. Let's talk. Because if you're having a problem with this concept, if you see flaws in it, number one, I want to hear it because if you saw flaw that I didn't see, that I haven't seen for the last 25 years somehow, I want to hear it. But you probably have people out there are in denial because I heard a very smart guy, you know, I was presenting to an audience with 80 very intelligent programmers on AI. They were developing AI systems. I flew to Raleigh, gave a presentation on AI, how I use AI in my traders. And I drew this on a whiteboard, this bucket Noel. And I heard one guy in the audience go, "There's no way that could be real." Isn't it just like, where do you go with that? What do you mean? There's no way that could be real. What is it about that that makes it not real? Because how could it not be real? I'm always baffled by it. I've been for 25 years, you do realize this is a therapy session. I come to my therapist every week. I get to talk. You guys listen. You're the therapist. I'm the patient, because I'm baffled, and I've been baffled for 25 years. How do you not see the absolute obvious? It's not even a gimmick. It's just reality. I, you know, if anybody has any, if you go anywhere and try to tell other people, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's got to be a scam and all that." It is. You're gonna hear that stuff. Go out there and talk to people. You'll be surprised at the stuff you hear. They'll say, "Get out of here, scammer," and say, you can't help. You can't fix society in general, really. I would not want to be the president or anything. I don't want to be involved in all that. I can't fix the world, man. No way. I'm a one-on-one guy. I can help you one-on-one, but I don't know how to talk to the masses because there's too much deep-seated emotional damage in people's heads out there. Because
Well, you're actually, that's a very good term, emotional damage. I mean, we all, anybody that's been in investing or knows anything about finance for the last 50, 60, 70, 100 years has been taught one way, to buy it and let it go higher. No one's ever
because
taught.
that's all you got going for you. Because they say, "Oh, well, you can't predict what it's going to do and all that stuff." But it's like, I can predict something. I can predict that it's going to wiggle like that forever. I can go to the alchemy. Let's just go to Coin Market Cap and just take a look at all this. That's a look, 1 month. Look at all that wiggling. Look at all those up and down action. Now remember what I said. You hold a loser. If I bought it up here and it went down, and I didn't sell that one, that's okay. you buy more down here. I was gonna point at it. You can't see my finger. But you know, you're just constantly buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. If I go a year, you know, you can see all the wiggling down here, even though it's underwater down here on the lower left here, you see all that. It looks like, oh, it's down, but you're still buying and selling the whole time down there. And any inventory you had there, when it went up here, right here to here, you just sold anything that's below that price right there just got sold off. Then you're still making all this money here. And then again, if I'm holding that one loser right there, or maybe another one right here, maybe, or maybe even another one down here. As soon as it did this, all that sold off. So you're always just selling, you're just constantly just taking free money forever. So let's go to my auto trader. If
Cool.
anybody ever has any questions, I don't know how you want to take them. I mean, I can answer anything about any of this. And it's the same with every coin. It's not, I didn't cherry pick Bonk or Alchemy pick. Yeah, let's look at Bonk, for instance. That's one of the big ones that everybody's trading right now. If I look at a 1 month chart, look at all that free money. All I see is wiggles, all this. And when it's going down like this, when it really hits the bottom like that, that's when millions of people out there are selling off like crazy. They're panic selling. Just like over here where you had that bottom, that drop right there where it scared everybody to death. The auto traders had a field day loading up at the bottom. Someone actually, I get calls from people when the coins are at their lowest. And they say, you know, should I stop my auto trader from buying? And I'm like, no, the biggest money you're going to make is the stuff you bought from the stuff you bought at the bottom. Because you're going to sell that off for pure profit, just free money. You know, and again, look at the last, what is it? The last 7 days. Look at that spike. And that mean, and right where we're at, look at that. From that price right there, you can just go across and see anything you owned over anything you bought anywhere in here is all sold off. You know, and today, beautiful day, beautiful, beautiful day, free money. Let's go and take a look at my trader. Here's my trader. First thing I'm going to look at is down here. I'm going to see that I closed positions. Oh, yes. All right. So I can see I had 3 closes, ACH, Doge, and Sheeb. Thank you. Thanks for the free money. You know, today's profits, $853. Very slow month since June 2nd, only 7,000. That's literally half of what I normally make per month. And I've had $30,000 months, $50,000 months, you know, and it's all up to the market. If I was to race back here to January 27th, real fast here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to look at Alchemy Pay because I bought it at 12 cents, remember, and it was going down, 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 down. But while it was wiggling, you can see up here the ACH. While it was wiggling, I took 326,000 in profits. I'm actually down 85 in open inventory that I still own. But on January 27th, this coin went from 2.2 cents, or January 26th. Look, ACH, 2.1 cents on January 24th. That's what it was. And then over the next few days, it started climbing. And look at all this free money, all this selling. And the beauty is, while it's busy selling all this inventory off at these beautiful prices, I like it when I see there's an open, there's an open, there's an open, because while it's going up, it's wiggling. So not only I'm double dipping is what's happening. You're double dipping because see all these opens and closes in the middle of a rally is because the coin's not going straight up. It's doing this. It's wiggling while it's going up. So not only am I selling off all that old inventory that I had accumulated, that the trader has accumulated, it's actually buying more on the drops and going back, and then it's continuing, it's resuming on the way up. So it's doing that, and the auto trader's selling off the inventory plus buying more and selling that off too. So it's like we really got them trapped, and we got the market trapped, and there's nothing they can do to stop us. And we're doing it in a beautiful way. We're not even, I mean, that coin went to 5.6 cents, from 2.1 cents to 5.6 cents in 5 days. Thank you. How do you over 150% return in 5 days? So it's really, up to the market. They want it however they move. But like I was saying, we're doing this in a way where we're not even gambling. We're running a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar. You don't have to have a building. You don't have to have licenses and everything. Whatever you need to open a 7-Eleven and start selling food. Um, you don't have to stock shelves. You don't have to hire employees standing at the register and all that stuff going on, and everything involved in the whole 7-Eleven. This is a 7-Eleven without the bricks and mortar.
And
And it's
without the
doing the
headaches.
same thing they do in a 7-Eleven. You put product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. Now, what else do you have to do in a 7-Eleven? Stop and think about it. Because once the inventory is off, once you've sold with the inventory that's on the shelf, you gotta replenish the shelf. So that's what the auto trader is constantly doing. If I just scroll down here, and as I scroll up, you notice we have beautiful updates. We get June 4th, all that free money. On June 4th, just free money, June 5th. And then look at June 6th. Oh, it was a buy day. We had to replenish the shelves, right? The 6th and the 7th. Well, we had one sell on the 7th, that's Shiba Inu. But you're replenishing the shelves for a couple days, and then you're back to selling it all off. Here's the 12th and the 13th. Well, on the 12th in the morning, you started buying, closing positions. Then the market started going down, so the auto trader started reloading up again. And then it starts selling, and then you see you're constantly going through here. You can see all the buys and the sells mixed. You have up days, you have down days. You have buy days and you have sell days. That's the way the market goes, and that's what you want. I don't care I don't want coins to go straight up. I do when we get to the mother of all rallies here, when that market turns into a V, when it goes from trending down like it's done for the last 3.5 years to that uptrend that's coming. It's coming because the
It's coming.
regulations are getting better and better in favor of the banks, helping the banks be able to meld into, be able to benefit from the crypto market. We have to help the banks. They can't just be our enemy, even though they don't give us any interest and all that. They're kind of worthless unless you write checks, and you need them to write checks. Otherwise, why do you need a bank? But we want to keep them in business, right? Because they have a lot of clout. I mean, I've been observing this for a long time. The banks got the savings and loan industry closed back in the 90s, I guess it was. And the reason they did that is because the savings and loan industry could do all kinds of investments in other things that the banks couldn't do. So people were pulling all their money out of the bank and going to the savings and loans. But the banks have a lot of power, a lot of clout. They got the savings and loans shut down. So they try to do that with crypto, but they can't. Cryptos are too big. Cryptos are worldwide. You're not going to be able to stop crypto. Cryptos are the future. It is what it is, and they know that too. So when you got to help the banks come on board. They signed that Genius bill a couple weeks ago that allowed banks to store crypto. So we're trying to bring them into the fold, help them benefit from the crypto market too, keep the banks in business. Otherwise, they hate your guts. Every time you take money out of the bank and put it in crypto, you're taking it out of the bank. They don't like that. And so they make it hard for you to deposit money into your crypto account because the banks fight you on it. They say stuff like, "Oh, who else has access to your account? You're being hacked," and all this kind of stuff. They say that stuff even though they know nothing about GoBabyTrade. They know nothing about the crypto market. So, but they don't want you taking that money out of the bank. They don't like it. So we want banks to be our friends. So, and that's what ever since the what they call that, the crypto summit at the White House a few months ago. Ever since we saw that, it's going to be good news. They were saying we're going to remove all the regulations that have been holding back the crypto market for the last 9 years. And these are all multimillionaires that were that were in there in that crypto summit at the White House. And Trump's giving them carte blanche, go out and fix it. Remove those regulations. Let's get the crypto market going. Since they said that, which was fantastic news, great news, you would have thought the cryptos would go to the moon right then. However, what did it do? Coins went straight down. Now you got to ask yourself why. Are they lowering the price so the wealthy can load up at the bottom and get the little guy out at the same time? Because in order for a guy to buy $30 million worth of crypto, you got to get the little guys to sell $30 million worth of crypto to get out. So how do you do it? You push the prices down. People keep staring at their account value. Don't look at the account value. I can't tell you that enough. Quit looking at it. That's a temporary. When they push a coin down, which I have no control over, you have no control. If the price of a coin goes down, the account value goes down. It is what it is. That's just reality. And however, your trader is taking advantage of that. So you're actually benefiting from that crash. Not right at the instant in time, you don't see it because all you saw was the account value go down. And you go, oh, my account's going down. What's going on? Look at the profits you keep taking. This is where the money is. This is proving this is just going to keep going higher for the rest of my life, and there's nothing they can do. That 900,000 I took right there in profits, they can never get that back. All these coins can go out of business right now. The most they could take from me is this 300 from this one, which only occurred in the last 2 months, by the way. That negative there and Sheeb, those two huge negatives occurred in the last 2 months because I was all net positive on all these coins. And so, like, look at GRT. That thing, that was 33 cents a few months ago. It's at 8 cents, a little under
Hey,
9
Ed,
cents.
can I add a,
Sheeb, 1133, it was at 3.000033. ACH, that was 5.6 cents in February, and now it's at 1.8 cents. You can see the drop. It just
hey,
shows
Ed,
me I'm going to make that much more money on the rebound. So
Mr. Barsano, can I add a
yes,
reference point to this? Right. So I've, we've really started referring to this as a life trader, right? It's always keeping you in the market, always keeping you in the money. Literally every single move up or down by 3% or more, it takes advantage of. You started this account 4 years ago, right? Not even 4
yes,
years ago. Not even 4 years ago, right? So you started with how much in this account?
200.
You've never added more, right?
No,
You've taken some out, but
I've
but
taken a
look,
lot out. I live on it. I
right,
have a Visa. I have a Coinbase Visa card that I use everywhere I go.
the
It's just
card
the
that keeps
card
on
that keeps
giving.
on giving. You can't.
Right. So,
It's just free
but
money. I don't have to put anything in it. It just takes it out of my Coinbase account.
yeah. So instead of looking at a very, very narrow, what you would consider a myopic view, look at what has happened on your investment in the last 4 years. You've made almost $1 million in profit on 200. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, 932,000.
Right. I mean,
Oh,
that's
however, observe. The account value right now is only 849,000. Why is that? Well, what have I been living on? Hundreds of thousands of dollars I've been living on for the last 4 years. So I've made 932. I still got $137,000 in my save bucket that the auto trader is not even using. But when the inventory goes down, when the prices of coins go down, you're accumulating more negative inventory, which is okay. Don't worry about it. Unless you're going to run out and buy a Ferrari tomorrow, I'm not worried about spending anything. But you can see the profits it takes. Like they can't ever 3.54% on that. I'm just looking at the 3 trades it did today, like Shiba Inu, that $403. I mean, where did it buy it here? It bought it 6:30. So a couple days ago, it bought this. This is the quantity right here. You can see
million
it.
and four.
Right. Well, look at this. On 6/29, it sold the million four at 1193. Bought it back the next day at 8:30 in the morning at 1142 at a lower price. Resold it today at 1188. It's like, give me free money. It's just free money, and there's nothing nothing they can do to stop it. You're gonna I feel and some of you have talked to me on the phone a lot, and you know how I feel. It's like I feel like I gotta be stopped somehow. This is crazy. It's just free money. But I'm not violating any laws. There's no rule that says you have to gamble. I didn't create the darn stock market or the crypto market. You want to give me the ability to take free money? Why wouldn't I take it? I'm not doing anything. But again, it's no different than running a 7-Eleven. You put product on the shelf and you sell it at a higher price. And everywhere I go, I can see in society just the way we live our lives is exactly the way we trade the market. I'm in a store, Trader Joe's. I see the store is crowded. You know, being a retired person, you'd think I would go to the store during the day when people are at work. Instead, I go to the store when everybody's off work and the place is packed. And I ask myself, why didn't I just come here at 10 o'clock in the morning when the store was empty? I don't know why I do that. But, you know, I go in there, the store is packed. I see people coming from one side of the aisle, coming in with their carts. Where I'm coming in this way, and people are coming in both directions. The aisle is packed. But then I observed something. There's an employee right there filling the shelves. Here's another employee filling the shelves. What's going on here? Well, the people are taking the stuff off the shelf, and the employees are making sure the shelves stay loaded with inventory. You gotta have product to sell. So when people see down days in the market, don't cry about it, celebrate it. Celebrate it. Celebrate that market going down and you loading up. I love these days when my auto trader is buying. These are buy days. And then why? Because the next day is a sell day. You keep the shelves loaded. And again, this isn't rocket science. This isn't made up stuff. This is just life the way it's been for thousands of years. This is how the world works. You put product on the shelf, you sell it, and then you put more on the shelf. If you ever walk into a store like an Albertsons or in Chicago, a Jewel food store, you know, those I don't want to put down those stores, you know, but they seem to be the stores where I see a lot of empty shelves. And I don't like to see that. In Trader Joe's, there's never an empty shelf. You're walking through there, man, because if there's an empty shelf, that means the customer walked right past an empty shelf. Nothing on the shelf, nothing for me to buy. You got to have product on the shelf. There's nothing wrong with inventory. Inventory is good. A well-seasoned auto trader that's been running for a long time has a lot of inventory. Each time it buys, I can click on this plus and expand it, and you can see the individual buys. That one there's a sell. That's you can see it's highlighted. The one below it, I'm down 3.74% on this one lot that it bought. And if I go a little lower down there, the last one before that, I'm down 12.5% on that one. And it just goes all the way down. But you can see I've got 18 lots. That's 18 of those buys that are underwater. I've got 21 of those lots of Doge, 43 of those lots of GRT, and 30 of Sheeb. Now, those are the two that really excite me because I know I'm going to make a fortune on those. You know what? There was something that back in World War II, I'm going to just say this real fast. I saw a documentary and someone in Japan was talking about, they saw the jets in Japan. This is before the bomb got dropped. Sorry about that, everyone. I pray for all those people. That was unfortunate. But the people in the towns where the bomb actually got dropped, they weren't being hit. And they saw the American jets flying all over and bombing everywhere. And they're like, why aren't they bombing us? Because you were being saved for something bigger, which is, we all know what happened there. And that's what I see here. When I see I'm accumulating all these lots and this artificial drop that's literally a coin that was 33 cents just a little while ago is sitting at 9 cents. And there's nothing wrong with the company. You can go to the internet, Google it, the graph. These guys get 2 billion hits a day or more in their APIs. That's a multi-billion-dollar company. That coin should be sitting at $30 a share, sitting at 9 cents.
Yep.
And when they push it down that hard and they're trying to get the little guy out, and so the big guy can buy at the very, very bottom, so he can make his billions when that thing runs. That's what's going on. That's why I'm excited and I love it. And every day they want to go lower, be my guest. My auto trader is going to keep buying more all the way to the bottom. If you want to go to zero, then fine, do it. Because you're not going to scare me out, and I'm going to load up. A well-seasoned auto trader has all that inventory, because when this market takes off, and it's going to take off, I don't know, it could take off tomorrow, it could take off next year. When it happens, it happens. But when it happens, we're going to get rich. I know I'm going to make 50 million. I've already done my math. I'm gonna make $50 million when this thing comes back, and there's nothing they can do to stop me.
Very cool. Well, Ed, listen, we're getting close to where we need to start doing some Q&A. Can you just show a couple things? It's time to share the $1 billion report with people and
Okay.
show them, explain the method to your madness there.
All right. You could actually even go to the website and see it. If you go to the
Yep, you
website and
sure
just
can.
click on trade counts, that's the $1 million report right here. The
The
highest
billion
trade
dollar
counts.
report. The
The
billion
new
dollar.
report's going to be coming out in a couple days. I produce this report once a month. Now I started, as Edward said, I didn't even have this report until about 8 months ago. So when I first turned on the robotic traders, I did some research and found those 4 coins that I'm trading, and that's what I've been trading. But then since then, you know, I came up with this report that says this is a back test for those of you who know what that is. It backtests 1 year of trading. If you were trading that coin, it has nothing to do with the actual auto traders running. It's a back test. It looks at 1 year. If you were just trading that one coin on this one here, actually shows 2% moves. I'm gonna rewrite it to 3% moves pretty soon. So, but this one's on 2% moves because at the time that's what most default strategy was, buying on 2% moves and selling on 2% jumps. 2% down buy, 2% up sell. But now it's 3%. It shows what's the number of trades you would have had. 1,899 in the last year. These are closed trades. There are no losing trades. So previous year's trades closed, that's profitable trades. 1,846 trades, 1,518 trades. And that was when I first created it. That's all the report showed. But then later on, I see, you know, we don't want to trade. Let me just go on here for a second. You see the big numbers up here at the top? If you go down, you know, if you go down here, you know, start heading toward the bottom of the report, these other coins, 389 trades, 392 trades. If I was to search for Bitcoin, online 329, 278 trades. So, you know, even Crypto Casey agrees that it's a great coin if you want to accumulate, but for day trading or swing trading, I don't even call it that. I call it profit trading. We just take profits and we don't care what the time frame is. I'll buy a coin and sit on it for 6 months. I don't care. But I'm also buying it again at a lower price and then selling it. It's always wiggling. You never go a long time without selling. But you can, then I added the monthlies and I said, let's look at them on a monthly basis. How many trades am I getting per month? And then I look over here like Bitcoin here. Its best month last year was 35 trades right there in 1 month. That's its best month. Now I go race back up here to the top and I go, you know, I go down here and I look at Sui, number 5. And I go, wow, its worst month was 38 trades. Its Sui's worst month beat Bitcoin's best month. And then take away that one slow month, and its next lowest month was 78 trades. I mean, so it's not a matter of how many trades. People say, well, I didn't get exactly 78 trades last month. Well, this is looking at 2% moves, not 3. So that's one thing. But I say, I don't care what the number is. Don't worry about what the number is. Just compare. This is used for comparisons of other coins. If I'm going to compare Sui, that never had a month lower than 78 trades in a month, other than that 1 month way back there. And this one here is also good. 37 trades, 57 trades. I mean, it just tells me I'd rather trade a coin like that than a coin like, well, Whiff is another good one though. So, but take the one right below it, Drift, whatever that is. You know, you got 25 trades, you got 40 trades, you got 45 trades. You know, so you want the ones at the top. Most GoBabyTrade clients trade the top dogs here. And what I didn't like about Swift, even though it's number 1, was I didn't like that 18 there. And there was another one right before that, because each month they move to the right, because I add a new month here. And so like this month, when the July report comes out, that 18 is gonna go away, and the June number is gonna show up down here, right here. So then his slowest month will be 34 showing on the screen.
Right.
And that next one, that 14 is gonna go away, and we're gonna move it to the right, and then a new month's gonna show up right here. So his slowest SPA. I mean, but look at these trades. Look at this free money. Can you imagine? Look at this. Just free money. And it's not me doing it. It's like whatever the market, it's up to the market. The market's just throwing all this free money at us. So what I like to do is I like to trade consistent coins that really they don't seem to ever have a bad month. So like if I'm trading bonk, barring that 1 month of 37 there, I can almost feel like I'm going to get close to 80 trades, or at least more than 70, or,
Mhm.
even more than 50 for that matter. I mean, if I'm going to look at the worst case, those worst couple months. But, I love SUI. I just love its consistency. I mean, does anybody think if I was a betting man, which I'm not a gambler, I would feel confident that if I'm trading SUI, I'm going to get a good number of trades. I think I'm going to get more trades on SUI than I am on this DEXT. I just picked that out of the blue, or out of this one. I mean, which one would you rather have in your auto trader? This junk here at the bottom? So what I plead with everybody, you guys many of you, I connect to a lot of people's computers. People share things with me. They show me all their positions they're sitting in. I'm going to tell you what a lot of people have been doing. So if you're all curious what others have been doing through the years without GoBabyTrade, they've been buying crypto for the last 5 years. They've been just buying. Every month they get a paycheck and they just buy more coins. And they're loading up and they're sitting on 50 or 60 different coins. And you know what I say? Go to this list with every one of those coins and see where they are on this list. If they're sitting down here, if you're sitting on this garbage, I hate to call it garbage, but I don't know what else to call it, because I don't want to own that. I don't want to. If you're sitting on that, to me, it's dead money. It's junk. For trading, it's not really going to crank out much money. If you're running a 7-Eleven, again, I'm going to go back to real world. If you're running a 7-Eleven, what do you want to put on your shelf? You want to put Butterfingers on your shelf, or do you want to put iodine on your shelf? What do you think you're going to sell more of?
Hmm.
I'm a guessing Butterfingers. I love Butterfingers. I would assume. So you want to have a lot of inventory. And then I added things to the report. I show the monthly average count here. You could sort by that. I also show the type. I just added this last month, the type of coin, utilities. A lot of people don't like meme coins. They say, oh, meme coins aren't real companies and all. They're not multi-billion-dollar companies. Well, so you can scroll. You could actually click sort it by that. And you could say, well, let's get rid of all these meme coins, jump down to the bottom. Oh, now or jump below the meme coins. Now you got all the NFTs. It still orders them by the highest count within that category, within that type. And then if I go past the NFTs, you got a couple unknowns there, or one unknown. And then you got to the utilities. These are real companies with real products. These are real companies. People say, oh, the crypto market's all voodoo and none of these companies are real and all. You're crazy, man. This is like buying IBM in the 40s. Give me a break. Or Gillette. You got the opportunity that is before us is off the map. I can't even, freaks me out, man, that people don't see this unbelievable opportunity. This is life-changing opportunity. If you miss this one, you've missed it all. Give it up, because
So
That's
what's
for
my,
sure.
there's nowhere else to place your money. You park your money in a GoBabyTrade auto trader and watch it crank out money every month for the rest of your life, or almost every day.
so Ed,
I mean, how can you beat that?
Ed, so what's my newer saying, right? If your mama told you it's too good to be true, well, mama was wrong on this one.
I know, I feel bad because a lot of people live their lives like that, with that thought. It's like right now, I'm going to just say, everyone that doesn't have an auto trader, every day that you don't have a robotic trader is a day that, number one, your auto trader is not taking profits. And number two, your auto trader is not building the inventory. So every day, it doesn't have to be taking profits every day, but it does have to get itself seasoned where you have a lot of positions. The purpose of having a lot of positions picture if each one of my fingers is one lot, one buy. When a coin jumps, someone told me this the other day. He said, this Sui is driving me crazy. He just signed up. And he said, every day, my auto trader, he just bought Sui and it went up and it sold it. Then it went down and he bought it. Then the next day he sold it, it went up and he sold it again. Then it went down and he bought it. Then the next day it went up again and he sold it. He said, the problem is it's jumping more than 3% each of those days, but he's only making 3%, you know, he's making just that little bit on that one lot. But say the coin, if I have a lot of inventory and a coin jumps 10% up, I'm selling a whole bunch of lots off at once. I got like 10% moves instead of one 10% move. So a well-seasoned auto trader, you want to have a lot of inventory. The example, many of you heard me say it. If I'm running a 7-Eleven and I got one bag of potato chips on the shelf and a school bus full of kids pulls in, all you're going to sell is one bag. That's all you got on the shelf. But if you have 20 bags of chips on the shelf, you're going to sell a lot more bags of chips. Because you know how kids are. One kid grabs a bag of chips, his friend's going to grab one too. So they're, I mean, you got to have inventory. And again, this is just observing real life, not just, I don't live inside auto traders. I live real life and I can see the same behavior in our lives. It's everywhere all around us. I mean, it's the easiest game in town. So like I was saying, how many people are online right now watching this video and are not buying an auto trader? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Because
Well,
like I said, every day that you're not running an auto trader is a day your auto trader is not taking free money. If you don't want free money, that's fine. And it's also a day when your auto trader is not building its inventory to become well seasoned. You know, you can say, well, I'm going to wait 6 months or whatever, you know, or some people say, I'm going to wait until, I don't know, I can observe more or whatever. This software's been running 25 years. The test period's long gone.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you
Hey,
can't
Ed.
find anybody on the internet saying they're doing bad. Any negative stuff you ever hear about GoBabyTrade is going to be from other people who don't believe in it, who don't own an auto trader.
Hey,
They
Ed.
say there's no way that could be real. If it was that easy, there'd be no stock market. And I'm
Yeah.
amazed that, you know, that I should have 100 million clients, but I don't. And I'm just helping the world, and you know, and people are resistant. I mean, I've got thousands of clients. It's not like I'm not in the auto trader sales business. I mean, people even ask me sometimes, you know, would you get a stock trader too? And it's like, frankly, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't, even though you could buy a stock trader and a crypto trader. But if you're asking me, I'm all crypto. Even though the auto traders, you can buy a stock auto trader too. So if I'm interested in selling auto traders, I would have said, yeah, get a stock trader too. It's not what it's about. I want to help you. I want to do what I just love it when everybody does what I'm doing, exactly what I'm doing. And the strategy's already set. If we go to the actual strategy itself, I clicked on, it's right under the menu, you know, select currencies right here. You know, it brings up the screen here and it shows you there's your positions. It knows how much money it has, how much it's allocated, how much funds available it has. You can tell it to dollar cost average if you want. You could tell it to, like if I just wanted to accumulate ACH, I could just uncheck the allow sell. And as it's wiggling, the auto trader will buy on the dips, but it won't sell it on when it bounces. So people are doing that with Bitcoin a lot. So it's adding to position their Bitcoin, but it's not selling any of it. But it's doing it in a smart way. It's not like every month you throw $100 into Bitcoin. You're going in all at the wrong times, at the wrong prices. And let the auto trader do it. It does it perfectly, the perfect money management. And the rules, there's only a handful of rules. It's got AI turned on, enable AI, that's enabled. It slows down the buying on a drop. It says don't buy more than 2 lots in a day. When it's accumulating in a down market, if it's just going straight down, it's only going to buy it twice, no more. Drop 3%, buys, drops another 3%, buys. If it wants to drop more, the auto trader is going to say, hey, I'll wait till midnight, until the next day to buy more. And if it didn't sell any on the same day or the previous day, it'll actually cut that number in half and only buy it once today. The auto trader is conservative when things are going the wrong way, and it's aggressive when things are going the right way. So
Great way to
it's
put it.
built in. You don't have to all change the strategy. People say, like, what happens when the market starts heading up? Should we make adjustments and stuff? No, you don't have to. It's all built in. The software, just because the profit goal is 3%, doesn't mean that if a coin jumps 20%, that it's not going to take 20% of profits. Cryptos jump around. That's another thing. I don't know if people observe the prices enough. They don't move like stocks where they graze like cattle. They just graze up and graze down. Cryptos they're more like, what are those goats that jump around? They jump, the prices jump around, and the auto trader says, gotcha. Because sometimes it'll jump up 12% in 1 minute, and then the next minute it's back down here. But the auto trader said, gotcha, up there, and it takes that profit. And I've seen it so many times. It's fantastic. But it's got all the rules right here. There are only a handful of rules. Literally a handful of rules. And they're all set already. It even shows you on the right here, in case you change the settings, you can always see what the original defaults were set to, so you can change it back.
Hey,
if
Ed.
you want to mess
Hey,
around, change these
hey,
things. Attila
hey,
would
Ed.
tell you, never touch these.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer people don't touch them because you're going off of a lot of years of experience. And by the time you reprogrammed the new trader, which was the crypto trader in April of 21, and you rolled it out, you've had so much history. And like you said before, you got rid of 9 screens. You've got 1 page there of settings. So you've got it,
Right.
you've got it down to a science. Why anybody would go in there and mess with those, as I can't figure out why, but it's
people have
kind
different
of,
philosophies,
yeah.
and like managing profits. The default setting is to save 100% of your profits. As you're making the money, if I go here and look, as I took this $197 and that $252 and that $403, it all went into the profits saved. It didn't get, what saved means is the auto trader knows not to use that money.
Right.
So it's using other money. If I could take this money out and it wouldn't, the amount of money that it's made here, this save bucket here that I have in a saved, I could literally withdraw that out of Coinbase. If I want to go buy a new car or something, I could just withdraw it. I withdrew a few
Right.
100,000 last 6 months ago, and I bought another car. So you can just take it out whenever you want. It's your money. The auto trader's not even using it. Now, some people have a philosophy of, I wanna compound earnings. That means as the profits are coming in, I want the auto trader to quickly use it again so that I'm compounding my earnings. Now, there's a flaw in that. If things are going up, yes, you're compounding your earnings, because what compounding earnings means is when the auto trader sees additional money, it says, I've got more money to work with now, so I can buy bigger share sizes, bigger lot sizes. It doesn't mean you're going to get more trades. You're not going to, a guy with $1,000 account is not going to get any more trades than a guy with $1 million account. The difference is that guy with $1 million account is going to be buying in bigger lump sizes. He's going to be trading, he's going to be buying a lot more shares.
Right.
Now, that's good in an up market, because then you're buying a lot and you're selling it. But if you're just buying a lot and the market's trend is going down, like right now we're in over the last 2 months, we've been in a down to sideways market. It's been going down mostly a lot. So you're putting all that, you're using all that profit. You're basically, it's like throwing it into a black hole. Now, there's 2 kinds of traders. One is, I'm looking forward. I don't mind adding a lot up here. That wouldn't hurt me if I wasn't saving my profits, because it just means I'm going to buy a lot more up here at the top, which means I'm going to have less money to when the prices go down here, because I used it all up here mostly, right? So, but what am I going to say here? But if I'm saving my profits, I can release that money when the market starts turning up. I've got 137,000 there. If I ever want, I can just go here and say, I want to release 10,000 of that to the auto trader. I'm going to go minus. It's just like a check register. 10,000. So you see I have 137,000. If I hit save, it bounced it now to 127,000. That means the auto trader now is going to have 10,000 more to work with. And I'm not even going to change that right now. I'm going to leave it like that. It won't hurt anything. I just give the auto trader a little bit more money to work with. You know, it really doesn't matter. Now, all your profits, even though it shows in your saved here, it's still part of your USD or your USDC in Coinbase. All your money's in Coinbase. All your coins are in Coinbase. GoBabyTrade can only see your account and send orders to your account. Buy and sell orders. We cannot transfer anything. So this is just a number. The auto trader is keeping track of a number, the amount of money that it says do not use auto trader. Subtract that out of whatever cash is there, and the balance is what the auto trader can use. Okay, so it's not like it's stored someplace separate. It's part of your cash. It's part of my account value already. That whatever all my money, all my cash is sitting inside my account value.
Hey, Ed, we're really at the, you've covered a lot. Great stuff. We're really at the part where it's time for you to take that jacket off and let's do a little Q&A here. And
you know what that means? Attila saw me once. He said, "All right, we're going into the Q&A session." I said, "All right," and I took off my jacket. I love the Q&A session.
yes, sir.
You get. I mean, I answer thousands of questions. There's nothing you can say that I'm not bashful. I'm not ashamed of anything I'm done here. There's no tricks. There's there's nothing going on. What you see is what you got. It's real.
Yep.
Everything.
So Edward,
So challenge me.
Yep. You're challenged every week.
If you have any doubts, whatever, I like to hear those doubts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we always get really good questions. Some of them are repeats and some of them are rudimentary. I will tell you right now, if any questions pop up on taxes, how to handle crypto taxes, let me get that one out of the way up front. But before I do that, Edward, do me a favor and make sure everybody has that $1,000 discount link to buy the trader and save that money. That's Crypto Casey's link. You could post it into the chat. And also we have two different email addresses for customer service. One of them is just for real general questions, or if you need a little help with maybe a live Zoom to go live or whatever, although there are videos that I've done personally that show people how to go live and connect that API to Coinbase. And then the other connection is obviously to Kraken. Those are two separate videos. They're under videos. The category that says videos. There it is, right there. Yep. Thank you, Ed. So
Right
Edward,
here, connect your trader to Coinbase. Attila did this one.
Yep.
And here's connect your trader to Kraken.
Yep.
Over here, the Coinbase allow list, that's for security on your Coinbase account. We help you secure your account so no one can steal your coins. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of really, just watch all these videos. I watch Crypto Casey's videos. She is so smart, she intimidates me. I can't help it. She is unbelievably smart. And I met her personally, I think about a month ago. And she's as smart in person as she is online.
Well,
So I appreciate her. I really appreciate her sharing with her audience, this trader. And
yeah, she is equally impressed with you, Ed. We've met with her several times since. So with that, yes, please bear with me a few minutes because I'm going to do some housekeeping. First, I'm going to put Crypto Casey's discount link in there. If you go directly to GoBabyTrade.com, you're going to pay $4,499 for a 3-year license. If you use Crypto Casey's at the thanks and behest of Mr. Barsano, Crypto Casey is affording her audience $1,000 discount. All you have to do is click on that link. Once you click on the link, it'll take you to the front page of the trader, and you'll have access to all of that research information if you still have any questions.
Yes.
We try and cover it as thoroughly as possible. I'm also going to do this. So I want to make sure that nobody missed. And I see some folks that came in after we started and made the initial announcements. I'm going to post a registration link. That registration link is unique for next Thursday. Remember, we normally meet Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. Every Wednesday, like clockwork, at 2 o'clock Eastern time, except for next Wednesday. There's a great reason why. Crypto Casey has just confirmed that she's going to be joining us. And it's probably going to be a slightly longer session because we get to interview Crypto Casey about what she thinks about the trader. She's been using it for over a year. And if you've listened to any of her videos, as a matter of fact, her very first video, about 6 to 8 months after she started using it, she called this crypto trader the holy grail of crypto trading. So don't miss next week. That link is for next week, but write this down: Thursday, July 10th at 2 o'clock. Then we'll go back to the regular Wednesdays, but Thursday, and that link is specific to registering. So don't sit. We may actually have a packed house. So please do that. And I'm also going to, as Attila suggested, I'm going to post 2 email addresses. One is for technical questions, and one is for more general questions. Technical questions, please refer them to support@GoBabyTrade.com. And anything else you've got questions about, Matt's, which I'll cover here in a second, is asking for some assistance in getting connected and purchasing the trader. We can help you with that, or Mr. Barsano's group can as well.
Okay, thank you, Edward. That's great stuff. So let me, before we get to the Q&A, and Edward, you know, I'm at a disadvantage with my tech here, so maybe you could also go to some of the questions that popped up in the chat. But most of them were answered by other people that already own the trader. But anyway, preemptively, the trader itself has nothing to do with taxes. Taxes in crypto are always a function of the exchange, Coinbase and Kraken. At the end of the year, probably around February, early March, you're going to get an email from them saying your tax statement is ready. You submit that to your CPA and you do whatever you want with that. Okay, the trader has nothing to, the trader is a tool. So let's just X out that question because I just answered.
Mind if I say one thing about that, about
taxes? Go ahead.
There's 2 different ways of trading. There's 2 different ways of logging trades. GoBabyTrade trades using last in, first out. That means the last buy you did is the one you sell. You can see it down here. The last buy of SHIB was at 1142. You see the 1,000,004 shares. The very next SHIB that it sold was that same lot that it bought. So the last one bought was the one that it sold. Last in, first out. That's profit. That's actual profit. If you were paying taxes on that alone, you would owe taxes on that trade because you made profit. However, the other method for logging trades that Coinbase uses is highest in, first out. That means the one that was bought at the very highest, the first one you bought the long time ago when the price was at its highest that you paid. And then when the software was selling, the one that we just said that I bought at a lower price and I sold it at a higher price, they're not looking at where I bought it down here. They're saying, oh, he bought it up here and he sold it down here, which is a big fat loss. So for tax purposes, that's how Coinbase logs the trades for taxes. So instead of you thinking you were going to owe taxes, in fact, they logged it as a loss for the IRS.
Great point.
See? So you're not paying what you're not owing the taxes you think you are. And even if you were, let me say something about taxes. I would never let taxes stop me from making money. No way.
Yeah.
And that's just every time I hear it, it's just so, I just don't, again, I can't understand how people think, because I'm like, really? You had a chance to make $10,000 and you're afraid because you have to pay a couple thousand to the IRS? You got a problem with that?
Yeah. For years, you know, when things were rough for me.
It's therapy.
Yeah. When things were rough for me many years back, I was actually praying for a large tax liability. Like I wanted that problem because I knew if I have
a fortune in taxes, it doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, that means you're making some jack. Absolutely. The other common question we get is, can we also buy the stock trader and get the same discount? The answer is yes. You know, when you go to the Crypto Casey's link that Edward just put up, you would just, there's a question there when you click the link. You want the crypto one or you want the stock one? But I'm with Ed. I wouldn't do stocks unless that was maybe nonstop trading silver only, just nonstop, because silver is very,
SLV in this
yeah,
SLV
SLV.
in the
Yeah,
because it's like I always say about silver dollars. If you have a drawer full of silver dollars, you're missing thousands of trades you could be making. Instead, that silver dollar is just sitting there. What are you holding it for? Waiting for it to go to some
right,
new high, some sky high price, and you're
right.
missing thousands of wiggles. It's the wiggles where the money is. It doesn't matter where
Yep,
the prices go on any of these. The name of the game
yep,
is the wiggles. This is where the money is. You don't open up a 7-Eleven, stock your shelves with a bunch of inventory, and then lock the door and don't let anybody in and wait for food to appreciate in value. Now, that might have worked in the last couple of years when all the food prices went through the roof. But in general, that's not how you run a store.
yeah,
You put it on
true
the
that.
shelf and you sell it. That's how you do it. That's how you make money. It's turning inventory. Like Attila said in the beginning, cash is not king. Cash flow is king.
Yes,
Turning
sir.
inventory is king.
Yeah, and two more questions. Thank you, Ed. Two more questions I'm going to preemptively answer. A common question we get is, what coin should I start with? Well, again, if you're not sure, just use the default one. Okay, and if you're trading with a very small amount, some people they buy the trader, maybe they could only start with between $500 and $1,000. That's okay. There are people trading with that little amount. In that
Trade one or
case,
two coins. That's
yeah,
it. You don't have to.
just pick one or two out of the default ones. Go to the default ones and pick one or two. I would pick one if you're under 1,000,
We have
frankly.
people with over $1 million accounts trading with 5 coins. That's it.
Max. Yeah.
I've only been trading 4 coins for the last 3.5 years.
You don't
You
need
don't
more.
need the problem when you have too many coins. Let me just show you here. Is if I'm dividing my money up equally, 25% times 4 coins, right? That's 340,000 for each coin. Now, if I was say I had 10 coins, then I would only be doing 10% per coin, right? So that 340,000 would go down to 136,000. See how I just dropped the amount of money that coin has to work with. And
Mm.
so some people are doing 50 coins. They're trading with 1% of their money per coin, 1 or 2%. And literally they're getting trades all day long. And at the end of the day, they didn't make any money. I like 4 coins. I like 3 coins. If I was to set this to say, don't trade that one, just to give you a demonstration, it would give me 34% of my money for that one, 33 and 33. Because when these coins make a big move, I want to be making big money. I don't want it all spread out where I'm only making
Right.
just a real little bit per trade. And when you trade with a lot of coins, that's what's wrong. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people are like that. And I help a lot of people. I literally, I have a pad here, my Apple 101 what do you call it, Edward?
Apple iPad 1.0.
It's just a pad, paper. But I literally help people. We could see every coin they have, and we go through the highest trade count report, and we go, where is that coin on this list? If it's not near the top, get rid of it. I mean, you're sitting on dead money, and because you want to free up the money, so the more money the auto trader has, the more money it's going to make. It's just reality. 100%
Right.
of a million is different than 100% of 1,000.
Right.
And I
Right.
can tell you, I watch people over the years. I watch what they're doing. All money from whatever else they have going on in their life eventually flows into their auto trader, because this is the one place you can park it. I talked to someone just last night. He said he's got some rental properties. He said, you know what? I'm going to sell the rental properties and free up all that money. And to free
Yeah.
up the money and put it in here. This isn't a gambling system. This is to me, this is like the ultimate savings account. Like I said, when I stick my credit card when I go to buy stuff, when I stick it in that machine or I tap it, I say to it's programmed into my brain. I go, the card that keeps on giving. I never have to put any money in this. I mean, wouldn't you like to have a magic card like that? That
Yeah.
just never, you never have to pay your credit card bill. Just it's free money forever. And no matter what I do, I can't spend the amount of money that comes in every month. I don't even have a house payment. I mean, I have no bills, but an electric bill, it's nothing, so it's
Yeah.
like this card is just, the account just keeps growing.
Okay, so Edward, why don't you start hitting some of the Q&A questions, and then I'll take some, you take some.
Well, here's an interesting phenomenon. We've never had less questions. We changed the format a little bit today, and we got a chance to explain it in a little bit more detail as we were going along. So we have very few questions, but I'm going to start with the first one. Matt, you look like a first timer. I don't recognize the last name. Thanks for joining us. I hope you've gotten
Matt
something out of
Klaus,
this.
is it Matt Klaus?
Nope.
Oh,
I'll keep him anonymous. But he's saying, do you have an instruction sheet that explains step by step how to join GoBabyTrade and connect it to Coinbase or Kraken? Thanks. Yes, Matt, you had that was a very early on question. 10 minutes in, we've shown you that we'll give you a couple of things. We're happy if you're nervous about the purchase of and the connection of. We're happy to give you some personal instruction. But as Attila and Mr. Barsano pointed out, there are videos in the video section that show you how to do that. The purchase of it is as simple as clicking on Crypto Casey's link again, and I'm going to post it again. Just make sure
there it is right there. GoBabyTrade.com/CryptoCasey.
Good.
So if you go to her link.
Yep, I'm going to post her link again right now.
And then when you click buy now, you can see it lowered the price from regular $44.99. It lowered it to $34.99. These are 3-year licenses. We don't do month-to-month licenses. We're not in the. It's too much hassle for all of us. Credit cards expire and all that stuff. We don't. We only, we take one payment. You're good for 3 years. Everybody likes it that way. And then when you click sign up, you just give it your email address and and just follow through with.
Yeah, it's literally name, rank, and serial number,
Next,
as far as
and then it asks for a password, and and there's no restriction on password. I give you 1 character. I don't care. My password's 4 characters long. You just fill in all the questions, and then at the end of that, it's going to say, how do you want to pay? Do you want to pay with a credit card, or do you want to pay with crypto? You pick that choice. And then you do the payment. As soon as you pay, it's going to come up with a screen and say, what symbols do you want? And then by default, if you click the default button, it'll actually put 4 symbols in there. I think Bonk, Doge, I don't know what you'll see them when you go there. The ones Edward was trading, Bonk, Ondo, not Doge,
WIF and
Pepe.
Right.
Really fantastic coins.
it's
they move a lot, and that's what it's all about. And then you're automatically, Matt, at that point, the trader will then start in paper trade mode. So it's not trading with real money. Then when you could, because we like to make sure it's got the right symbols, everything it's going to do, the settings, the strategy's already set, it's got the symbols, it's ready to go. So then when you go live, you just go to this other screen called Exchange Preferences under your main menu in the trader, and then it'll say, you'll be able to click a button to say connect to Coinbase or connect to Kraken, and you pick the one you want, and then the prompts are there. It's so easy.
That's where the video comes. That's where the video comes in that I did for both Coinbase and Kraken, Matt. Watch those, and if you still need help, just let us know. It's that simple. Yeah.
You send email to either one of us, and we help you go live. And then and then we want to make sure we secure your Coinbase or Kraken account, making sure you're not going to get hacked. Make sure. I mean, because right now, without the security that we help you set up in your Coinbase or Kraken account, if you don't have that security set up, if somebody got into your Kraken or Coinbase account, You wouldn't even know you were hacked until all your coins were gone. We put a stop to that. So you'll get a notice. You'll make sure that nobody can steal your coins.
Can I
So
make a
and then
comment
I
here, Ed?
literally, your auto trader puts up a message every morning, one time on the screen, right on your trader. It pops up. And it tells you right there about the security and click on this. If you haven't done this already, click here. And it tells you every day. So don't be telling me you're running an auto trader for 6 months and you've been ignoring that message that's in your face every day and you haven't turned it on. It's like, there's no reason. Just will you click it? It's got the link right on it. Click that button to turn on that security. It's there for you.
Hey, Ed, I just want to add to that, that another very, very big security step, if you're not using two-factor authenticator, you're missing the boat, because nobody from Coinbase is ever going to call you and ask you for that code. Do not answer any phone call. They're not going to call you for anything. I actually received a scam call just a week ago. And boy, they're good. I mean, they are good.
They're good liars.
Oh boy.
People get text messages, someone's trying to access your account from Pakistan. If it's not you, call this number. No, don't
Yeah.
call that. You don't
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
nobody like Attila said, Coinbase isn't going to call you out of the blue and tell you
Nope.
you're having a problem. That's not going to happen. So don't
Nope.
listen to these. Don't be calling people. Don't be getting emails from
What you do
scammers and
is,
clicking
yeah.
on links. If you
What you
ever get
do,
an email or something and you have a question about it, shoot it over to support and tell me to take a look at it. And I'll tell
right,
you right
what,
away, that's a scam. Or text it to me. I'll tell you right away, that's a scam.
another thing that's important to do, if you ever are in doubt, like if you get an email and you're not sure if it's authentic, you could always just, minimize the screen and go and sign into your Coinbase. Make sure
Yeah.
everything is copacetic. Okay? That's the
And if
best
there's
way
no
to do
problems, then you know it
it.
was a scam.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, next question, Edward.
Can I address one more thing on the same topic?
Of course.
Really fast. This is important for all of you. And this has nothing to do with GoBabyTrade. We're just trying to help you in general with a lot of issues that we've discovered over the years that are problemsome when people are in cryptos. And that is those of you who have loved ones and you're doing crypto, and I don't even care if you're a single guy doing it, if you're a kid doing it, if you're trading crypto, you gotta let somebody else know how to log in. Let your mom, your dad, your husband, your wife, you gotta step aside and let them walk over to that computer and watch them log into your Coinbase or crack an account. Because if they can't do it and anything happens to you, those coins are gonna vanish. Nobody's gonna get them. All your wealth is gonna just be gone. And your loved one's going to have a heck of a time trying to call Coinbase saying, I want to get into this account. Because so if you're having trouble logging into your own Coinbase account, how do you think they're going to be? And you already know how crummy support is at these exchanges. And they're dealing with criminals, crooks all over the world. So they're not going to just let somebody into your account without a fight. So you really, really want to, I mean, my wife can sit down in front of my computer and log into my Coinbase account and get access to everything. And I encourage you to do that. Put it on you got bucket lists and stuff like that. Put that on the list. I would do that. I would definitely do that. And
Well
you'll save
said.
your loved ones a lot of pain in the neck when they try to get at those coins. Because what's going to happen is this. Someone's going to call me, say something happens to your husband, and I'm gonna get a call from your wife, Luann, maybe, right? Luann, I know you're online, so I said that. No, say you're gonna call me and say, how do I get into this account? And I'm gonna say, I can't log into your Coinbase account. I don't know. I don't know your Coinbase password. And then, and what are you gonna do? I don't know. I mean, what am I gonna say? Call Coinbase? Go to their support? God help you. Because we all know their support is junk. They're so not helpful.
Yeah, well, it can be, well, here's the thing. It can be
I mean, you'll
very,
get in, but you're not going to get in there easy.
well, here's the thing. It's very, very frustrating right now to deal with some of the exchanges, but that just shows you how early we are in this space. If the customer service was superb and everything was smooth, we wouldn't have the financial opportunity we do right now. That's how early we are. It's still hard to get customer service from the major exchanges because this space is in its infancy. So
Yeah.
I'll put up with that pain to be
No, I know.
early and be able to buy this stuff as cheap as we buy it and take advantage of the trader, as opposed to having great customer service, but no financial opportunity because we're 10 years too late. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like right now is not the time to decide, hey, I want to start buying some Microsoft stock. It's sitting at $500 a
Right.
share.
Right.
You know, the time to do it was when I held my Microsoft stock from my Microsoft days through 10 stock splits. I mean,
Wow.
the opportunity was there to make millions. You know, that opportunity is gone now, you know, but this one
Right.
is just beginning. We are at the beginning of something huge.
Right. Like I said, like I usually say, and Ed reminded me to say it again, I totally missed the internet revolution. I was in la la land, busy living life and supporting a family. 5 years ago, I promised myself there's no way I'm missing this one. It's too interesting, it's too disruptive of a technology, and it's too lucrative. So go ahead, Edward, with your next question.
Matt.
Or with
Just to close out, Matt, we'd love to have you part of the family. If you have any trouble whatsoever, contact us and we'll walk you through. And even if
or send email to support@GoBabyTrade.com.
Yep. And if we need to jump on a Zoom and walk you through, super easy. Don't be intimidated. It's really not that difficult, but it'll be the best decision you've ever made. So,
you know, this is not a system where you sign up and we just forget about you. We are here to help, and every support question gets answered, you know, and you know, right away. And we call. We don't hesitate to call. We have multiple of us that call you and help.
Yeah, no, the support is really for real.
Right.
Go ahead, Edward.
Shelley, this may be an answer that you have right off the bat, Mr. Barsano. Shelley, I'm sorry, not Shelley, Sheila, saying I have one position open with WIF. The ask price keeps changing. It actually went above the ask price, but it never sold. This is happened a couple of times this week. Why won't it sell the final lot? What am I missing?
Oh, look at the final lot. It generally does not want to sell the last lot because you always want to have something on that shelf, some inventory to sell. If you don't own the position, then. So if you go to your rules, the strategy rules, right here, you see this do not close lots that will be immediately reopened. If you close that last position, it's going to buy it right back. So if it's the only lot you own and you don't own 2 lots or more than one, just disable that. The default now is disable. See here? So change that. Disable it and go down and save your changes.
Good.
That tells it, even if it looks like it's gonna, because it's not really gonna reopen. I'm gonna get rid of this feature here, this indicator, because you have pauses here between once it closes a position, it's not gonna rebuy it back for an hour, 60 minutes anyways. So because of those up here, it's not really going to buy it back right away anyways. That's why this indicator here is going to go away here pretty soon. I'm going to be getting rid of it really soon. These kind of settings, like I said, like Attila said, I came from 10 screens of settings and whittled it down to 1 by getting rid of this unnecessary stuff. Before I had these up here telling it to pause your trading, pause your buying, this was an important rule. But now that I have those pauses built in, this rule really is not necessary anymore. So I changed the default to disable, but I didn't turn it off If you already had it set on enable, I just let it stay. So it's up to each individual if you want to turn it off. But once I do, I will say this, once I get rid of the indicator off the screen, I'm defaulting everybody's trader to disable internally in the system.
Very
Good.
cool.
Jill,
Very
hopefully
good.
And
that helps.
also, can I point out something here? Sometimes you see the coin is like here, perfect example. Look at my trader. It sold ACH, Doge, and Sheeb, right? ACH, Doge, and Sheeb. It did not close any GRT today. And you look at GRT and you go, wait a minute, it's up 10.5%. Why isn't it closing it? Well, click on the plus and let's look at the most recent lot it bought. It shows I'm only up 1.85% on that one lot since I bought it. Because it just, so if I just bought it on, I'm only up 1.85% from the price that it paid for it. It's telling me here, it's got to go to, right now the price is 0.0880. And it's telling me here, it's got to go to target price is 0.0896. See that? So it's got to go up to 896 before it's going to reach that 3% profit goal. So even though on the main screen, you may be looking up here saying, well, I'm up all this. How come I'm not taking the profit? Well, you're not. That's how much it moved from yesterday. That's all that's saying is that's how much the coin moved overnight. But it's not telling you how much your this most recent position is up or down. So if I go down to the one before that, I'm down 12.96% on that one. And that's why, see, you'd think they would only be 3% gaps between each one. The thing is, the prices jump around. So a coin might have dropped, 10% or 15%, and then it bought again. So then even if it went up, this one might be down 15%. And so even if it goes up 10%, it really isn't profitable yet. So, but the auto trader handles all that. But if you just click on the plus next to any coin, you can look at the top lot and you'll see how much you're actually up or down.
Excellent. No, I love it when you show that because there's so much detail there. Most people don't see that, they miss it. So thank you for that. Edward?
Okay,
Oh,
Richard.
there is one more thing I could say about that topic, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Because there's another thing that a lot of people say is, how come my auto trader isn't closing a position even though it looks like it should close it? Even though it has, you think it's reached your target price. But what happens is, you see this L2, you don't have this on your screen, but this L2 right here, level 2, there's a lot of manipulation in the market where you think the best price, this only shows you the lowest ask and the highest bid price. The price that if someone says, I'm willing to sell my shares, I want this much. That's the guy that says, I'm willing to accept this small amount, this small price. I'm willing to sell it to you for $10. But then the next one up says, well, I'm not willing to sell mine for less than $12. So, but the best price is the $10 one, right? Because you could buy it at the lowest price, right? But the problem is when so you got all the prices above that are asking for more. And then on the bids, they're saying, I want to buy it, but I don't want to pay more than $10. And the other guy says, well, I want to buy it, but I don't want to pay more than $8. So the best bid and ask are the highest bid and the lowest ask. The one that's willing to pay the most and the one that's willing to accept the least. Those are called the best bid and ask. Those are the numbers you see on your screen. But when it comes to the level 2 screen, you can see there's a lot of higher numbers. So a lot of times when you're getting ready to sell your shares, that guy offering the lowest, that's willing to sell at the lowest, or in your case, buy, that's willing to buy it at that lowest number, at the price you're willing to sell it at, that number of shares isn't available at that price because he only has so many to sell or buy. So then the real price might be way higher than if you're willing, in order to fill your order, the price might have to go way up here. The software interrogates the level 2 screen and finds how high is that price going to have to go if I'm buying, and how low is the price is it going to have to go if I want to sell my shares. So it might turn out, in order to sell, you can see right here 84. If I was to stop this for a second, if I can get it to stop, come on, stop. Well, if you look, all right, here, like 95, like that one right there says I'm only 9,551 shares are available at that price. Now, if I want to pay more, then the price is, if I want more shares than that, then it's going to drop down to the next price. And you're going to end up paying more for it or selling less, whatever. You're never going to get the price you think. You're
So
always going to be
Ed,
going up and down this thing. It's a little complicated, but
so Ed, just to try
so
to
don't
simplify.
always just go by the number you see, because that's a fake number a lot of times. There's a lot of
Yeah.
manipulation in the market.
It's actually, it's a fake number, just to recap, it's a fake number because it's just the regular numbers that everybody sees if they went to like Coin Market Cap or something like that. Like what the, where the coin is and how much it's gone up. But that's in conflict with what's on the true numbers in the level 2 screens, correct?
Right. And then
Yeah.
also, you see this screen here is showing a price, right?
Yep.
18812, right?
Right.
If I click on the level 2, you can see the number's constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing. We don't constantly change it on your screen. So, the number you see right there, that's
Yep.
already changed. It's not really exactly that. Otherwise, computing resources and everything, you would drag these auto traders to their knees, your interface. The
Okay.
interface, as a programmer, I can tell you, the graphical interface is a very expensive thing in terms of computing resources. That's the most expensive resource because it has to write it to the screen. Whereas
Well,
without the auto trader, the actual auto trader that you have does not have a graphical interface. The actual trader that's running on the server, this is just showing you what your trader's doing. This is your trader, and there's everything. It's real. But the actual trader doesn't have a graphical interface. It's flying. Doesn't have to update screens, doesn't have to send data over the World Wide Web. So it's just like you ever ready bunny rabbit, man. That thing is just flying, man. And
so
those
again,
numbers are changing, like you see here. They're constantly changing the prices.
yep. So like we say every week, guys, just you got to trust 50 years of programming experience and
There you
25
go,
years.
aging me. What do you think I was? 3 when I started programming?
I thought you were 4. So, and 25 of those 50 years was programming robotic autonomous traders. So don't try to outthink or outsmart over 3 million lines of code. It's not going to happen. But that was a very good answer to a very legitimate question from Sheila. And we appreciate it, Ed. So, Edward, we got to move on. What's
No,
next?
but
Yeah,
before you
well,
move on, let me
let's
say one thing real fast.
I thought you did already.
No, but I found another thing to say. No, but I think it's important because there are a lot of people that are just simply in denial. I know, and there always is. But the fact is, to do this, 25 years of development,
Mm-hmm.
I had to literally unlearn all the misinformation that's being taught. Think of all the garbage they're teaching in those trading classes, all wrong stuff. And I learned all this presenting to audiences. I'd be standing in front of an audience and they'd say, well, what if a coin goes down? Do you use a stop loss? I'm like, no. And I heard one guy say in the audience, that's like catching a falling knife. And I'm like, where do you get these cliches? You're brainwashed by cliches. It's wrong. If a price is going down, if your mission, I mean, I could sum it up in one sentence. Well, how do you trade? Do you buy high, sell low? Because that's what you're doing when you sell with a stop loss. I bought it up here, it goes down. You didn't stop a loss. because you can't stop something you don't know is going to happen. You don't know it's going to keep going down. It went down already. Now all you're doing is locking in the loss. It went down. You just locked in that loss, and then it goes back up. So you're in the business of buy high, sell low, buy high, sell low. I'm like, turn that around. You're supposed to buy low, sell high. But
That's good.
again, that's how millions of people think. There are people out there that actually look they're well groomed. They're just all well shaved, and they talk so eloquently, and they act like they know what they're talking about, and they're lying out of their teeth. They have no clue of how to make money in the stock market. They're up there just lying. These people teaching the classes aren't even in the stock market. They're just lying. It's like an investment advisor telling you to buy this coin or this stock and sit on it. And he doesn't know that. And then when it goes down, what does he say? Well, the market crashed. All right, well, great. Did you prepare me for that market crash? Are we buying more at a lower price? Well, what are we doing with this? Are we going to sell it when it does go up? Or what are we doing? We're just sitting on it and watching, missing thousands of trades we could be making. I mean, they're all blowing smoke out there. And that's the thing, So in order to create a system like this, as easy as I make it sound, in reality, I had to unlearn all the misinformation, and that's a daunting task. Not only do you have to be a brilliant programmer, thank you, but you also have to be smart enough to see all the scams that are out there, and you realize that the whole system is rigged against Joe Public. It's just rigged. Like Edward, you said it. The whole financial system out there is a scam. I mean, they're literally, you give your money to a bank and they give you 1% interest. Maybe, I don't know if it's a checking account. Do they even pay interest? So now you're literally loaning them money for nothing. And then they're loaning it out, doing car loans, home loans. They're getting all this interest and you're getting nothing. What are
Yeah.
we
I'll give you
goofy?
one better.
What do I
I'll
look
give you
like,
one
an idiot?
better. You're giving them your money for free, and then they're issuing you a credit card, and they're lending your money back to you and charging you
And then
36%.
charging you interest. And they're going to charge you. And some of those statements you get in the mail, how many of you get Discover card statements and Capital One things, offers to give you a credit card? I always open them. Normally you could just say, hey, throw it away. I don't throw things away anymore because one time I I got a pen in the mail once and I could feel the envelope and I knew it was a pen in there. So I kind of plucked it like that and just pulled the pen out. And I threw the envelope away. I didn't even look in the envelope. And it was and it turned out it was a really nice pen. Unfortunately, I would have bought more if I would have opened the envelope.
All
I'm an
right,
idiot. But
let
I
me say,
open up those envelopes and I look at what the interest they're charging on these cards. I saw one the other day, 33% interest.
Yeah.
that's
And they're
normal
sending millions of those out to people. Are people signing up for this and being
all
charged
day,
33% interest?
every day. They think they're getting free money until they have to pay it back. So
It's
let me say this before I move
we the
on.
people are just being scammed by society, and I pushed back and I said no more. No
Why
more
do you think?
peas for me, Ma.
Why do you think they call it just over broke? Because you need a job to pay the 36% interest rate. So
I got that out of a movie.
so
Peggy
let's
Sue got married. Remember Peggy Sue got married? He said
so
no more peas for me, Ma. Go ahead.
gentlemen, I need to chide you both a little bit. We were on pace in this speed dating system until you guys started going down rabbit holes.
All right, sorry.
What do you mean, you guys?
You guys, Jersey and Vegas. So
I'm just,
Richard's got a comment, and he's not going to hear the answer. He said he had to go, but as a reminder, everybody that's joined us here, you're going to get a replay by about this time tomorrow, maybe a little bit later. By close of business tomorrow, you'll get the replay. So if you missed anything, no worries. And Richard had to drop off. He says, I've been very impressed with your unique program and I think he meant you and your team's presentation. My driver is ROI, and I'm not very impressed so far. So I don't know what that means, but I'm going to comment on it just so that Richard can watch this later. What I think it means is he's been watching the market for the past couple of weeks, or maybe even the last couple of months, right? If I don't know what expectation of ROI you're getting or wanting, but you're in a position where if you're not making 20% on your money, I said this at the beginning. If you're not making at least 20% on your money, then you're just going broke really, really slow. And I totally agree. You're being scammed like everybody else in the marketplace. This system, if you haven't recognized it so far, it's not a sprint. It is a marathon. It's a marathon for the rest of your life. It's a life trader that's literally going to make you money. I showed you my simulator. My actual trading account is doing the exact same thing. If you think 100% on your money, or 50% on your money, or really 40%, 30% on your money is not enough, I don't know where else you're going to get that kind of return. So, Richard, I get it. I think you need to extend your view out a little bit. The return on investment I showed you, I'm running at a pace of over 100%, and
Right.
that's
Well, that's where,
typical. That's
Edward, the thing
typical.
is, if you look at the profits you took in the last month and you multiply that times 12, that gives you an idea of, if you could that's annualizing it. And you
Right.
can see on what you're on pace to make in terms of profits. Now, the market can jerk with you by pushing the prices lower. We talked about that. And
Mm-hmm.
it forces, if I didn't take enough profits to offset the prices going down, then the account value is going to go lower. And that's what he's looking at. He's not acknowledging the fact that he's probably on, I remember helping him, and I believe he was on pace to do 50% this year if he just stays the course. They're not going to keep lowering the prices to zero. This is a temporary, and then your auto trader, it takes time to accumulate share of profits. So I've talked to Richard before, and it's just, it's just understanding that, the market, the auto trader is preparing you. Like I said, you have down days, and we had a lot of down days this month where all you were doing was accumulating like that. But these profits are in perpetuity because nobody can stop you from keep taking profits. The example I said before is, if you have a jelly jar, clean out the jar, of course, and throw marbles in it once a day or something, and watch that jar fill up, because you cannot deny the profits. They're real, and they will go there. Now, however, if he's not doing something else, how about this? If he would just save all of his profits, they would all be in that bucket, and he'd realize he's winning. But I would venture to say, he probably set his profits saved to zero, which means the auto trader is just using up his profits as he's making it. What I always say is, the auto trader's job is to make money. You spend it however you want. You want to go to Vegas with your money, go ahead, that's on you. So if he wants to throw his money in as he's making it right back into the market and watch the coins that he's buying go lower, he's not realizing that his auto trader is accumulating inventory. He doesn't see the value yet because the market's been going straight down for the last 2 months. But watch when that market turns around and he starts selling off all that inventory that he was accumulating. Then he's going to go, oh, now I see it. But in the meantime, we got to hear that we're doing badly. And we're not. We're winning. We're killing it.
Yeah, well, listen, if you think 50% return on your money is bad, then I don't know what to say. All right, but
But it's
that's okay.
understanding how the whole system works, because you can't, this isn't a buy and you buy it right away and it goes straight up and you sell it and make all this money. This isn't a gambling system. This isn't even a forecasting system. The system, when it buys it, it doesn't know when it's going to go back up. It might go back up the same day you bought it, and it might take 3 weeks for it to go back up. That's up to the market. That's the market going up and down. Today's
Right,
moves. Just
right.
going up and down, up and down, up and down. This
Yeah, a
is just
lot.
going to keep skimming money for the rest of your life. That's why we sell 3-year licenses. Let it run for a year and you're going to be blown away. Let it run in 3 years and you are really going to be blown away, because they can't stop you from taking money. And if you just
Yeah, a
give it
lot of
time. You sign up one and it doesn't go. I've had people on the same day, the very next day say, how come my auto trader is not making money? And they just opened up the positions. And they were asking that on a down day. I'm like, you just bought the position while it was down. The coin was down on the day and it's still down. And you're wondering why you're not making profits. Prices have to move. That's how money is made. Now, I don't know if you didn't know that, but you buy it at one price and you sell it at a higher price. That's how the money is made. Prices have to move. They have to fluctuate. So, and that's where the money is. There's nothing, this system will crank out 100% a year standing on its head. It'll even do 400% a year. That's up, but that is up to the market to determine it. We might do 1,000% in a year. I'm looking for 4,000% years here pretty soon. When this market starts that turn up, you are going to be blown away, man.
Hey, Ed, let me say this. First of all, this trader has never seen a bull market. Okay, so there's some unbelievable things coming, but the answer to a lot of people's questions are answered by simply saying it's market dependent. People forget about that. It's all about what the market's doing. I've had my trader not take profit sometimes for 7-8 days. Why? The market's either at a standstill or it's retreating, it's going back. Now, while it's retreating, my trader's doing what it needs to be doing, and it's supposed to be doing, adding more inventory, more positions, because
and it'll never buy more than 2 lots in a day.
Right.
And if you didn't close any, if the market's just going straight down, it'll actually slow it to 1 lot in a day. It'll only buy it once. The name of the game is always being where the money is. Wherever that price goes, follow it. You never want to be a buy and holder where the price drops 30% and you got this, and you don't own anything. You got this 30% gap here. You don't want that. You want to follow the price wherever it goes. That way they can never even wiggle it up just a little. Even a 3% move up gives you money, profits.
Right.
So no matter where it goes, you're following the price and you just keep taking money. I mean, it's almost like criminal. It's like you're the tax man. They can never raise the price 3% from wherever it goes. They can never go 3% higher without you taking profits. For the rest of your life, you got that market trapped.
Okay, Edward.
And I appreciate the question. I appreciate Richard's question, and I'm like I said, throw the tough questions out there. If you think you're losing, you think something's wrong, throw it out there because there's a reason for it, and you're just not understanding it. Richard just doesn't. Maybe he's just not understanding yet because he hasn't seen it yet. But once he does, then he'll know.
Yeah. Edward?
David is asking a simple question. Is 3%, I'm assuming profit, is 3 or purchase, is 3% the sweet spot?
Yes. It was 2% for the last few years because the market literally was going on a straight down, 90% drop. It was 2% before. But you can see we're starting to get bigger moves. See this? We're starting to get bigger moves in the market. But at the same time, I don't want to say I want 10%, set it to a 10% profit goal, because then I am going to miss the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9% moves, because you really want to take advantage of those wiggles too. So, so 3% right now is the sweet spot. When I changed the default from 2% to 3%, in my trader, because I always share, if I'm changing something in my trader, I changed the overall default to 3 for all new clients, and then I sent email to all the existing clients, and I said, hey, I'm changing my strategy to 3% because we're starting to get bigger moves in the market. I did that on November 4th, the day before the election. I noticed that things were really heating up here, and so I raised it to 3%. And then I sent email to everyone, and I told them what I'm doing, and because it's really easy for you to go there and change it yourself. But then at the bottom of the email, I said, hey, if anybody wants me to do it for them, I'll do it for you. It only take me a second, to do it for you. Then I got like 600 responses in the email. Yay, would you do it for me? But that was okay because I could just hit the database and automatically change it without bringing up screens and everything. So I enjoy doing that, helping everybody. So
Cool.
yeah, we help. I don't change stuff without you knowing. If I'm going to change my strategy, I'll let you know it. So, but
Okay.
3% is the sweet spot right now. Yes. Maybe when the market really starts on a real true bull market, which we have not seen yet, like Attila said, we've been in a bear market for 3.5 years now, and we have some up days, but they're not. It's that's not a bull market, That's just a bear market with some up days. But when this thing really starts heading up, you're gonna know it because you're gonna be getting 20 trades a day. And then you're going to go, whoa, now we're moving. And I saw it in the beginning when I first automated the market in April of 21. When I first automated the crypto market, as soon as I turned that on, I said, holy Toledo, I'm done with stocks. I knew right away. I'm like, I was getting 20 trades a day, man. I'm like, holy Toledo, stocks do not move like this. And I was thinking, people were asking me to automate the crypto market in 2017, and I was just like blowing them off. It's like, I don't have time to look at that stuff. I'm buried in the stock market here. And, and so now I'm all crypto personally.
Yep, me too. Edward?
All right, Mal. Hello, guys. You mentioned not to move anything on the default strategy. However, Ed mentioned that the monthly report, I'm assuming that's the monthly highest trade, is based on 2% moves, and the strategy comes with a 3% profit goal. Shouldn't the monthly most traded be at 3%? Yes, I think
Yes,
you asked this
by all
question,
means.
right?
By all means, it should.
All right.
But it takes a lot longer to be able to, it's not just the change of a number. Because when that report is not generating each month, it's not generating the whole year all at once. It's only each month. It takes 5 days for that thing to run just for 1 month of results, and it's accumulated with the other months that it already has, that
Right.
it already had. In order for me to, I can't do it. I can't release a report that's part 2 months and part 3 or part 2% profit goal and part 3% profit goal. So until I can get the whole report to be a 3% move, I really can't just change the number. I have to let it stay.
But you're moving in
2%.
that direction. So once
But
you've
yeah,
got a
it's
whole,
on my, I'm going to get that done. And, but again, the numbers, whether they're 2 or 3, isn't the important thing, because once it does it, it's what we care about is just give me the ones with the most.
right,
I
the
care
highest
about the
trades.
ones with the most. So changing it to 2 or 3, if I change it to 3%, there may be less trades than that, but not a lot less. But all their numbers are gonna change accordingly. They'll all fluctuate the same.
All right,
So
second part of the
so the
question.
number itself isn't the important thing. These coins are still going to be at the top of the report. The numbers are just going to look slightly different. The ones at the bottom are still going to be at the bottom. It's not going to change. These guys aren't gonna, they're gonna get less trades in a month, not more.
The takeaway from as you said, the takeaway from this report is it's identifying for you, doing all the research on what are the most volatile, most highly traded coins.
And also people always ask, I mean, I remember I was always trying to find where, like, I want to do research and find out what does this company do. Well, just last month I added these links here. So like if I want to look at SPA, go right to their own website. I don't have to go searching the internet. It just takes me right to their website. So you can see what it is they do. And I think that's a very valuable thing. What does Bank do? Click on it. Takes you right to their website. I mean, that's a beautiful research tool. If you want to know what do these companies do, what does Alchemy Pay do?
So that is
what does Sui do? I don't even know. Let's look. There it is. There's their website. You can read about them. I mean, and really good stuff too, man. Man, that's a great company.
That's an excellent tool. Excellent tool. Edward?
Yep. Let me finish, Mal. On that same line, strategy comes with a maximum of 20 lots but Ed's trader shows 40 lots on some coins. Should we also extend the number of lots?
No. The reason is I had to go to 40 lots because the coins dropped more than 75%. So I had to increase my trading window. When the coin dropped more than 75%, all the money that was allocated up here was used because it bought. You're telling it when you sign, when you're telling it, when you started out, you said, I want a 75% trading window. So your default was 25 here. 25. 3% drops times 25 of those gives you a 75% trading window. That means it can drop, as long as it stays within that 75% drop, you're trading in perpetuity for the rest of your life, taking free money no matter where the price goes forever. Now, if it drops below the 75%, then I had to extend the window further. So what I did is I just extended it to 40 lots, which is over 100% drop. So now I had all that extra space that it could then drop lower and the trader could keep trading. But now where was it going to get money if I was already allocated all my funds into the top 75%? This is where the profit save bucket comes in. You go here and you say, release some of this money. Release, I could say, release 100,000. And say, now you got all this extra money that it could use when the price goes down there. It hurts me when somebody changes, they gamble, and they do this. And I've seen people do it, all right? They'll say, I'm going to squeeze all my money into a 30% window. It's like, all right, you don't expect that coin to drop more than 30%? Because if it does, all your money is going to be already bought. It's going to be in positions up at the top within the 30% window. Then they'll call me a week later and say, how come my auto trader's not trading? And I'll say, well, because the coins dropped 50%. The price is all the way down here, but you ran out of money up here. So then we extend their window, which it should have already been by default extended to a 25 lots, that would have given them a 75% trading window. I'm not saving any, I haven't saved, so I really don't need to be changing these back. But then when I go over here to look at their cash and I go, oh man, he wasn't saving any of his money. Now he doesn't even have any money. He used it all up in that 30% window. The default was already set to save 100% of your money. So that if it ever does drop down there, you got this big bucket of money that you can release to the trader. See, there's always something looking, the trader's always looking ahead. And when you change things, understand what it is you're affecting down the road. That compound earnings, I want to throw all my money in as it's being made. That's not, in a down market, isn't good because you used it all up here and you don't have any money for when it goes down here. Or you start trading in very small lot sizes down here. I hear that a lot. Sometimes somebody will say, I was making a lot more money per trade than I am now. It's because you used up all your money because you were aggressive over here. I tell people straight out, never go below a 60% trading window. 3 times 20 is 60. But you'd be surprised how many people I see with things like, 15 lots. 3 times 15 is a 45% trading window. And I feel like, you're starting to enter gamble territory because over the last 2 months, these coins dropped 50%. They did drop 50%. Now, he still owns all the positions, even though the price is lower and he's not trading because it's going up and down, but he's not trading. He's still sitting in the positions. And when the price does go back up there, he'll start selling all those off. So it's okay down the road when we get there. But you always want your auto trader to always be able to trade. And that's why 75% was the sweet spot. 3 times 25 lots.
Awesome. Very, very well explained, Ed. Thank you.
This
Edward?
is a lot of stuff that most people don't need to change.
No.
Just leave it alone and you'll do fine.
Amen to
Over
that.
99% of the clients don't even touch these settings. You got 1% of people out there changing things. And so I had to raise my number because I ran out, and so you can see my auto trader has increased you know, I'm above 25 lots on this one and on GRT, and I'm above 25 lots on cheap. I haven't even reached 18 or 25 on ACH or GR or Doge yet. Whoops. I'm only at 21 lots. So.
Eduardo?
All right, gentlemen, let's keep moving. AA says, what are the trading fees? So I can handle this one. The trading fees are determined by the exchange. I can talk about Coinbase because I'm in Coinbase. Excuse me. When you buy the trader and connect it to your Coinbase account, it automatically connects to Coinbase Advanced, which means you get better pricing and better fees. I personally also purchased Coinbase One, which for $30 a month, because my trader does a lot of trades, it eliminates the fees up to, I think, 10,000, your first $10,000. So in that case, that scenario is it ends up negating all the fees.
They give you rebates. They give you rebates on the trade, like 25% back. Also, the auto trader is, when you had a 3% profit goal, the auto trader actually added the fee to the profit goal so that it's already covered in the trade. So it's not like you took 3% profit and then had to pay a fee out of that. The auto trader said, go for 3.34% on this trade, because we know what the fee is going to be.
Right.
And
but then if
so
you,
that it actually made the price go higher to cover the fee.
Right. And in that case, my scenario, as I explained, Coinbase Advanced, which is automatic when you connect the trader, and Coinbase One, I not only get all that money back, but essentially the trader doesn't know that. So it's, excuse me, it's returning a higher return than 3%. All right, Anthony, what are the pros and cons to trading your funds with dividing by percent or equal funds, if any, if there are any pros and cons? I'm assuming
Well, when you start, you have 4 coins, say. You're just spreading the amount of money. That's this column here. You're just spreading it equally, all your money. But then later on, what happens is, you notice this guy only bought, because of the way he's been trading, this coin only used less money than this other one. GRT was dropping a lot, so it used a lot more money. And it actually used up all of its money. So it used up all of its 340,000. So that was 340 there. That would have been 340 there. And that would have said, I have 0 money available. So then I said, okay, this is something that very seldom rarely do you have to do it, but I added the spread funds equally button here. That takes the available funds and it divides it equally. So it borrowed money. This 155,000 and 177 here, and it spread it equally between these other two also. So it gave each coin more money to work with. So that's the difference. That's what spread funds equally is. Now, spread funds equally leaves sometimes it leaves a few percent behind. Like you see, when I spread funds equally, it said it only allocated 97%. So now I can allocate the other 3 myself. I can just go in here and raise that 16 to 17. I'll go down here. I don't like Doge that much. I'll raise 38 to 39 and this 29 to 30. And now that used up, now it allocated all 100% of my money and it's spread out. And so I've got it spread. Then you just save. You go down below here and just hit save. And so that's the difference between those two. This one was added later. See, I didn't have that when I first created the trader. I had just this one over here on the left, spread percents equally. But then when one of them ran out of money, I said, oh, I want to borrow money from these other ones, and I don't want you to have to worry about doing that, you know, having to do math and all. So I just created the spread funds equally. It says, this is how much money I have left. Divide that equally. At that point, I don't have to worry about the percents anymore. They don't mean anything. I really care about dividing the money up equally.
Good.
So that's what
Very
that
good.
is.
Anthony had a great comment. He just said, just got another cha-ching.
Mhm.
Yeah, when the auto trader trades,
That's
it
great.
pops up a message on the screen and it goes ka-ching, you made that much profit. Somebody asked
Yep.
for that about 10 years ago and I went and programmed it. It was cool because I remember I was in the kitchen one time and I heard a ding come out of my bedroom. And I went running back there to see to see how much my auto trader made. You know, it pops up on your screen.
So
Go ahead,
Anthony
Edward.
says, ask the question, do we have access to the level 2 features? No.
No. It would make no sense for you. It would do you no good. I mean, you can go find level 2
No.
on the internet somewhere. This isn't even, I would not put that in everybody's auto trader. It would bring the internet to its knees in your house. You don't need this kind of stuff running in your house because this is sucking down. This is how, I mean, it's a lot of resources for that.
Right.
I wouldn't put that in thousands of people's screens. Even the
Yep.
auto traders don't have that on every screen. There's an actual level 2 screen running in one program in the auto in in the co-location center in my racks, and it's feeding all the auto traders from there internally. I wouldn't send that
Hmm.
data out over the World Wide Web, man. That would
Well,
be too much data.
Yep. So let me address Russ and Luann. Russ said I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I think it would be good idea, Russ, for you to send an email to support at GoBabyTrade if there's some things you want to discuss about your trader. Then I'm sure Ed and his team will gladly
Sure.
take care of it. Okay. Richard, who's not with us, but he's going to get the replay. Everybody's going to get the replay. Ask the question: what do you estimate you need in your account to make the $3,500 back in 3 years? I'm going to pause that because I'm going to show an example as we close out. Which actually, gentlemen, we are pushing 3 hours again.
Some people make
But
$3,500 in one day. It's like, I
yep,
don't know.
yep.
It's up to the market. It
Well,
might take a week. I mean, that's up to the
well,
market. He can make that right away. But I mean, if you're only trading with $1,000, 100% of $1,000 is $1,000 divided over a year is how much is 1,000 divided by 12? $8, $80 a month. I mean, and how long is it going to take to make $3,500?
yep. No
But then
worries, Ed.
again, you might get three, if you look at the top trader reports, top traders, here's somebody in the last 1 year. It's a 1 year report. He did 477% in 1 year. I mean, 15,000 on a $3,000 account. You don't know. You don't know what you're going to make. I mean, here's a guy that started with almost the same amount as that guy. He had 3,700 and he only took 6,800 in profits. Different coins, if I click on default, he's got, look at all these coins he's got, compared to this guy up here, he's got these three. So, everybody's different. You can see he makes good money, 35%, 35 and 30, as opposed to this guy down here, he's making 11% per, on he's got his money allocated like that. He's making less money per trade. Everybody is different. So there's no way to answer that question. There's simply
Well,
no way. I have a simple answer for it. I say put as much money as you can. Everybody is throwing, people are bending over backwards to sell their businesses and everything to funnel money into the trader because they see it's a money machine. And I literally have a video out on the website. If you go to the GoBabyTrade website and click on the videos, there's a blog on there that literally I tell people, don't mortgage your house. People are doing that stuff. They're mortgaging their house to get more money to throw into the auto trader, and I try to talk them down. I'm like, take it easy. You didn't even have a house payment. Now you're creating one. Slow down, man. Because your money's going to compound for the rest of your life. Relax. You don't need to do it all in 3 months. Relax. Take it easy, man. Once you have an auto trader, you're set for life. Just relax. You don't have to do anything radical.
Yep, and Ed, at the end, I usually show examples, right? If and I'll do that again, so that'll add a little bit more context and complexity. But you're right, it's literally a life trader. So but I do give examples for people to go, all right, well, do I need 1,000 or 3,000 or 5,000? What do I need if I'm going to invest $3,500? What do I need to put in it to make up that investment? I get your approach. I'm going to give just an example sheet so that people can take a look at that. We're down to 2 questions. Will says, "Hey guys, you mentioned in past webinars, oh, this is a good one, about creating a community for our GBT folks. Where are we with that?" So I'll answer sort of wispy. We're putting together a whole bunch of features, and we're going to open it up to people that are in the GoBabyTrade family, meaning anybody that owns a license. We're going to give you a bunch of free time in that community as we're adding value to it. We're probably about 3 months away. Let me see, July, August, September, October. By November, we'll have something released, and then and you'll know about it. We'll put it out on the weekly webinars and give you a way to join so that you can jump in and you can start taking advantage. And a lot of it is just a lot of the stuff that we do behind the scenes, a lot of the research that we do, a lot of the things that if you remain a student of the crypto and digital digital money market, then you're going to benefit from it. But great question. I know I keep teasing it. We're trying to put it together to give you as much value as possible. Stay patient, and we'll certainly let you know, and you'll be the first in.
You know, if you go to YouTube, you see and type in GoBabyTrade, you can see a lot of Crypto Casey's webinars.
Yep.
You can see there we are right here in this one. You can click on, you notice right here it says financial intelligence for you. You can actually click on that. And you can see all the videos right there. That's where these videos go, right? Isn't that it,
Yep.
Edward?
Yep, we load them up with the exception of the apologies. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. We had some technical issues last week that prevented us from being able to post it. I don't know why it wouldn't convert the file, but yes, 99.9% of the time, within 24 to 30 hours, we convert it, we upload it to YouTube, and this is where it resides. So you can always watch the past performances. We do cross-link a lot of Crypto Casey stuff and a lot of Ed Barsano's information as well. So that's going to be a repository where you can continue to learn. So
yeah, and you can go, if you go to YouTube, you can actually and type in GoBabyTrade in the search in YouTube. You literally see all kinds of other people, everything everybody's saying about GoBabyTrade.
Yep. Will, thank you for the thanks. Appreciate the question. Happy to have you as part of the family. Mal, and this is the last question. It's to you, Ed. Ed, please show us a report that comes with the same percentage as the strategy. Probably you could show us both 2% and 3%. Thank you. I'm assuming that's you're referring to the high trade account. And then just to reiterate, I think, Ed, you had said you have to collect a full years of data at the 3% to be able to properly compile a 3% report. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's I think I will when I release the 3% report. I'm probably going to give you both, where you can actually click on one and then click on the other, go back and forth, and
That's excellent.
compare.
Perfect.
Yeah, since all the data is there.
Okay.
So
Russ,
what do we got left here? About 5 minutes?
no, we're out of questions. It's now a couple of comments. Russ and Luann just posted they got locked out of their trader. So please do send an email as soon as possible to support at GoBabyTrade and let them help you walk through that. So, but with that, I am going to give some closing remarks. I did say that I would share an estimate just to show what the possibilities are. And I'll say this: if you don't own the trader, you should. I didn't get a chance to pick up where I left off at the beginning when Ed and I were chatting, but it's provided me the ability. I did say it's bought time back for me. I've gained 50% of my time back from what I was putting into research and trading and manually trading and all that type of stuff. When I plugged into the trader, it allowed me to buy 50% of my time back. I get to travel with my family. I get to spend time. I'm 60 years old. I mean, I know I look 20, but
wow, you're old.
Well, but I've got a 10-year-old. I've got a 10-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 21-year-old that I want to spend as much time with. That this trader allows me to do that. It is called freedom. What can we not make more of? We can make more money, right? We can't make more time. So use it wisely. This is a tool that everybody should own. If you're afraid of it, then keep joining us and understand that really is there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no accident. This has been 50 years of hard work and 20. People go, well, you should sell this at $99 a month or $25 a month. We want to be able to test it out. Nope, Mr. Barsano said it earlier. 25 years, the test is over. The test is over. You've seen what it's done in my account. You've seen what it's done in Mr. Barsano's account. Attila could share the great news the same as well. If you don't own the trader, you're losing money. I don't know where else you're going to get this type of return, but let me show you an example of if you were to own the trader. Here's your opportunity. I usually present it as opportunity lost, right? So the gentleman, one of the gentlemen talk about how much money do I have to have in the trader to pay for it? Okay, so here's if you notice that that this percentage is at 50% per year, right? So $5,000 if you started with that, right? At the end of 3 years, you've got $16,000, almost $17,000 off. If you want to take out your original investment just to see what your true return is or true opportunity, if you didn't own the trader, minus out then the cost of the software. And if you didn't buy the software over that 3-year period, you're leaving $8,376 on the table. Well, look what it does over time. If you really believe us in that it's a life trader, then you renew the license. You've got 56, almost 57,000 at the end. If you wanted to minus out the $5,000 again to take out your original money, right? And then you're gonna have to renew the trader. So you're at almost $7,000 in. And by the way, yes, this comes up as a question. We didn't address it tonight, but I'll address it right now. Mr. Barsano, in his generosity, will allow you to, as long as you want to own the trader, renew it every 3 years at $34.99. Look at 9 years. Opportunity lost. If you don't own the trader, $176,000. That's a lot of money. That's only at 50%, by the way. 50%. It's been generating double that. So let me blow your socks off. Strap into your seat, because here's an example at 100%. If it just does continuing what it's done over the total of the almost 4-year period, then look at your opportunity cost on $5,000. 31,000 net over 6 years, 308,000 net. Look at this number. If someone said to me 10 years ago, hey, put $5,000 here and you only have to work for the next 10 years, what would you do?
You know what though, Edward, what you're describing is actually the whole low end of all of this. The low end. Because the fact is, people are coming in with, I mean, I got people with multiple accounts running $1.6 million in each account. They're gonna blow these numbers away, man. And even people come in here. I've got people with $50,000 accounts, 30,000, 20,000, 100,000. 200,000. I mean, the returns are just astronomical. That's why I'm saying I see it, because I talk to so many people and I hear,
right.
Like I said, I get the play-by-play on the phone. All right, my home loan, my second mortgage is almost through now. And I'm like, stop, you're freaking me out, because they're giving me the play-by-play on their loan. And I'm like, I don't even feel like, I know you're in a hurry to get rich, but it's not all that it's cracked up to be, folks. I've had millions of dollars for a lot of years, and it's not all that it's cracked up to be. It isn't. I mean, you only have, if you got a 3-car garage, let me tell you something, you can only buy 3 cars, all right? So it doesn't matter how much money you have. It really doesn't change a lot. You know,
Well,
you still have to worry about your cholesterol and your high blood pressure and all your medical issues. None of that stuff goes away. It doesn't matter how
well, I
much money
mean,
you have. You know what really is torturous is the fact that you can afford to eat steaks, but you can't eat them because you got high blood pressure or you have high cholesterol. It's like, I want that steak. It doesn't
well,
matter how much money you have.
I'll say two things. It's, you know,
Money's overrated.
money's not everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. It makes things a little bit easier. And
It does.
the American dream is to have more money at the end of the month versus more month at the end of the money, which the trap of the lie in the system that we're living in, the matrix I call it, it traps you into believing that you're gonna make $10 and you can spend 11. This gives you this, at least as an example, shows that you don't have to come in. Many people think that you got to put 25, 50, $100,000 in here to make some decent money. If you look at this as a life trader, that's why I created these examples. $5,000 now over 10-year period has the potential to make you that kind of money. Where else
Hey,
are you going to be able to do that?
Nowhere.
Edward,
Yes.
Edward, you froze up for about 5 seconds, so I think it's time for a summary. And by the way, these numbers you just shown, obviously, I need to reiterate, there's no guarantees on that. Those numbers may be half, they may be 3x, they may be 10x, they may be 1/4. No guarantees. It's all market dependent, as we said 100 times. Now,
Right.
we thank everybody for being here this Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday with the exception of next week will be Thursday, July 10th. Remember that, with Crypto Casey as our special guest. Ed Barsano's coming back as a special guest again, obviously. And
I would
don't
not
forget,
miss it.
I know.
I would not
And
miss
then,
it. Crypto Casey is going to be on.
and then don't forget the link to get the $1,000 discount is in the chat. And, you know, all we could say is, you know, go forth and multiply your crypto. And there's no better way that we know how to do that than with this trader. I mean, it's just such a blessing to be able to utilize this as part of our strategy. And it's really just awesome. So
It's
Ed
fun.
Barsano, thank you again for being here. Edward, great job.
Go
And we'll see
Navy.
everybody next week. Thank you for
Yes.
the great questions. Take care,
Attila,
everybody.
thank you. Ed, it's always a pleasure to see you. You are a man with a big heart. Thank you so much for helping
Yes, sir.
everybody that you help.
Go Navy,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Take care.
With that, be on the lookout for the recording, and you can always go to Financial Intelligence for You on YouTube, and stay tuned. We are going to continue to add value. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.